Welcome to Strongholds. That's okay. We're just gonna cut that whole thing. Welcome to Storm King's Thunder, where me and a bunch of my friends get together and we like to play Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons. And nothing from Brandon, and it breaks my heart.
Dragon needs nuts across your face.
You won't say Dungeons and Dragons, but you'll say that. Oh, I love it. Congratulations. You just got our entire stream bumped to an R rating. Last we met...
we were already an R rating.
You're right, though. I've been listening to our old sessions, and we're fucking hysterical, y'all. Like, there are countless moments where I still just die. Life's a walk in the woods. Be about it. All right. Last time we met on session 25, the Lords of Nightstone were wrapping up clearing of the canyon, and they investigated the Steinfang, which had many questions and answers carved into it. The three most important were that Jarl Storvold is close to finding Artis Kimber and the Ring of Winter, with which he seeks to start an eternal ice age. Duke Zalto is nearing completion of the Vanindad, a powerful fire-powered dragon-slaying colossus from Old Astoria. He's also been promised a fire elemental from the Drow. Countess Sansuri is working to unravel the stolen Nightstone, but it is known to Jotuns as the Noctotstein, which you passed along to Donovan for research purposes. While in the canyon, you guys, Davos scaled a 150-foot high effigy of Scoria Stonebones to retrieve the Orb of the Steinfang, which he later used to enchant his shield. You passed on stealing the rock egg. Rip. And
for now.
For now. You also met up with the Blue Bear tribe and united them and convinced them to travel to Nightstone by land. Upon the flight home, you stopped at Oralbar at Erenbor's request, and the three knights of Lathander were very disheartened to see their home in ruins. The church topper of the temple that once stood there is now on top of the temple in Nightstone as a what your father perceived to be a sign that the people of Oralbar were destined to go to Nightstone. It was to be their sanctuary, their refuge. You also met the exiled stone giant, Zork, and successfully recruited him and convinced him to go ahead and join your cause. On the flight back to Nightstone, Goldbrand took a session of Prescience and saw a thick, frozen swamp with murky water and hardy wooden trees. Uthgard from various tribes gathered around a Sluthe Fire, and an enormous iceberg in a seaward snowstorm. Upon returning, Davos's family was reunited in a very touching reunion. 285, now called Gideon, recognized Derek of the Iron Ring, and you had to intercept him, much to his frustration, but after some time, he understood that this was a tactical move, and asked you to teach him some spells. He successfully used the Magic Stone cantrip. He tried to work on sleep and Word of Radiance to no avail, but he's going to be working hard on that. You also received a report from Osvius that Lady Daggerford has met in secret with a slimy figure known as the Snail, and that he's willing to give the Lords, or that Lady Daggerford is willing to give the Lords some territory if needed in negotiations. Lady Daggerford invited you to the Shieldmeet Ball, where you will meet most of the nobility from around northern Faerun. You commissioned some nice outfits by Alistair, the gnome that you had freed from Thane Kaelithika's pocket, as well as some winter clothing by Miro Selbrin, who is going to use the Yeti skins to make some improved cover there. Derek of the Iron Ring departed, and Osvius was sent his instructions to return back to the city. Bergen, you had a very chilling dream about Kimber and Storvold engaged in a battle that you were told you must prevent. Helena, at the apothecary, gave the fruits of her labors 2 greater healing potions, and accepted Davos's invitation to the Shieldmeet Ball very happily. Clyde Swiftwhip stopped by and offered up a small selection of larger magical creatures, and told you that he could acquire other things upon request. Zork had arrived and set up in the outer caves. Lucius, of the Order of the Aster, requested that the temple remove the statue of Maleki to devote the temple solely to Lathander. The Blue Bears arrived, with varying responses to the city, and Kodiak reaffirmed his request and demanded a blood testing at dusk. Mezzo restored Ember to his adolescent state, and the bards aided Davos in spreading the word of the blood testing. Kodiak and Goldbrand waged battle, and with a decisive victory from Goldbrand, who after knocking out his opponent picked him up with a cure wounds, and seems to make a move to execute him before Hydia intercepted and demanded that, as her right as chief, to battle bond you two, to prevent you from thinning out each other's lines. And that, my dudes, is where we left off in last week's session. The first thing we're going to start with are the requisitions and the animals that you would like to pick. We'll start with the requisitions, which you can find a list of which on Strongholds and Followers chat. What do you guys want to invest in building or adding or?
Real quick, I don't know. I may have just missed it about Donovan. Did you cover that?
I did not. I went over it very lightly when I talked about the Noctid but Donovan did share what he had gained and deciphered 2 of the 3 runes of the fragment of the Nightstone that you guys had. And you were able to contact Zephyros to translate the 3rd, which was an ancient Jotun rune, similar to many of the runes that are upon your arms and armor and Zatare's body. The runes translated in the 3 different languages, unending, ceaseless, death, which is spoopy ominous.
I didn't get that part.
You didn't get what part?
Like, I just didn't write it down.
Oh, you son of a
When I was
bitch.
doing notes, so
No,
thank
that's
you.
And you guys relayed the information about the Dodkong, the stone giant that you were told had forged the Noctodstein, as well as told him the Jotun name for it, where he could investigate further.
Thanks. Requisitions. I'm sorry, I just really wanted to... I didn't have the full picture on that, so thank you for that.
No, you're good, dude. So as far as requisitions,
Let me go look.
everything has a price, a time, and a effect that it gives you. What looks good to you, dudes?
I'm kind of like in the barracks or the landing deck.
I'm just gonna write these down as.
Yeah, both of those are definitely doable because we're so stacked, and I know that alongside of maybe doing what I thought Brandon said last session. I noticed in the recording he said he thought expanding again or doing defenses. I don't remember. I can't.
He did.
I thought that Joey had said that our town people said we might need to expand, but then later redacted that.
Yeah. Originally, I had what I had meant to imply was expanding the farms to make more food. It was a situation that Daphne was talking about, that we have enough food to feed everyone. We're still making extra. We're going to give some of this extra food to the giants, but if we continue to grow at this rate, we will have to expand our farm.
Do we have enough room currently?
The farms can be put outside the city if you wish.
Well, I'm talking about in general for all the, because we had a whole town's population show up.
Yeah.
They're building housing for them, so we're not actively overcrowded.
No, Basically, the space is reserved for the buildings you choose, and then they're going to squeeze in houses where they can in between other existing structures. They've added a few. You'll notice that 3 houses north of the graveyard have been added up here, and we also have a few others that have been crammed in here to the bottom. I actually made this in haste, so you'll notice that the drawbridge and the road are not aligned because I fucked that up. So I will fix that. But you guys have plenty of room to build whatever you wish. And if you see something here that you don't see, if you say, I want to build a casino, or I want to make a sauna, or whatever. If you want to build something because it's your town, you're welcome to. These are just the things that your people are recommending to invest in.
And they are using Strongholds Followers rules for that kind of thing. I was going to plug that there are cool rules to go with that, I'm sure.
Yes and no. I'm tweaking a lot of shit because the Strongholds and Followers, it's dense and it spends a lot more time.
It's an expansion to the system.
Yeah, it adds a good bit. So Bergen said.
So I think we could definitely do both of the things that Bergen said.
Okay.
Because we have give or take 20,000 gold. It might be 21,000 after last session. So we have a pretty good... That's with our jewels and stuff all put together.
Mm.
So I definitely agree with Bergen. The barracks sounds great. I kind of vote... My vote would probably be to put out more farms or pastures, even if we only did 3 or 4. But I would be down, and I could be swayed towards a blacksmith or the scribe. the scribe would be is equal tier for me with the farms.
I'm making a list of these because, obviously, if you guys are gone for a long time, they're just going to keep building. And they can build 2 things at a time now, so things will go by a little quicker. So, barracks, landing deck, farms.
God, we're just putting them in a
3
queue.
or 4. Basically, yeah. It's AoE.
Someone else put one in the queue.
Shift, click, 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 click. About to say, Brandon, I haven't heard anything from you yet, my dude. Anything you want to seek to invest in?
Nah, I agree with all that.
Okay.
You
So
don't
what
want
I
to
have-
open. What kind of buildings do
Don't wanna
vans
what?
open?
Do vans open? The
Yeah.
Bard technically has a tavern. Or
A theater.
a
I
theater,
thought it
yes,
was.
you are correct, yeah.
The rogues
Um,
have taverns.
You are correct, yeah. We're going to get into that, but there's some things that got to develop first. But we're getting to that stage of the game where you guys have the coin and the resources to do these things. And the coin to requisition them faster. Like, all these buildings have a price, but by doubling the gold, you cut the time in half. So, like, the blacksmith, for example. 2,400 gold, 16 days. Or you could do 4,800 gold and have it done in 8 days. Don't think you guys are at a point where you need to do that, but that is an option that you have.
I mean, it's up to y'all. Do you have the prices written next to those? Like I. Yeah, I guess you can pull up a calculator, but I was gonna offer to do it for you.
No, you're fine. If you will just drop into the bag of holding, go ahead and subtract 1,200 for the barracks.
Okay, let's see.
And then
Bag of holding.
subtract another 240 for 3 farms. Subtract 500 for the landing deck. And then you said blacksmith and scribe?
I mean, unless anyone else wants to swap those for something. God, now I have to edit these with the names next to them.
I mean, you can just put the gold amounts. I'll remember when I check back on this. Subtract 3,600 for those 2. And that's a
How
decent
much
chunk.
did we have? Yeah. how much
Nearly
did we have?
20k. After that, you're going to have a decent chunk. Still. Like, you're still going to have 12, 1,300? Maybe even more. I'm trying to think. 36 plus 240. We'll round that to 4.
So that's almost. Oh, hold on.
How much is that total?
4.8 and some change. So
You're still
that's
gonna
not
have
even.
15k. That's not even a quarter
Yeah.
of what you got. So y'all are good. But that gives me something to tell your people to work on.
Yeah.
Shifting
4.7.
gears a bit. I will I'll mark to reprioritize these. But Clyde Swiftwhip and his magical animal menagerie. He does tell you that if you buy a flying creature, he can't teach you to ride it. You have to go and study that. He recommends there are trainers in Neverwinter that can help you with that. He also does not have barding or saddles anyway, but he does have 2 more crystal collars for 300 gold apiece. You did have 6 choices of the animals that he brought with him, but you can also request something specific if you're looking for it.
Maybe possibly we could requisition some sort of like exotic menagerie guy who can like make us saddles and equipment for all these fucking crazy ass critters we want to collect along our...
Miros, especially with a level 3 blacksmith, can make your barding and your saddles and stuff like that.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. I think Devin tried to recruit him in the last session, Clyde, but he turned him down. You're on mute, my dude. Devin has the dumb. Oh, is that what he keeps saying?
Yeah, his shit's been acting weird.
Shit.
Been acting funky, hadn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, I did, but that was under the condition that we took the rucksack, and like he stayed to raise
Oh,
them.
I see. I got
Which
you.
I now move that we do so and give to Gideon, just to see what would happen.
The rock?
Yeah,
What?
I guess
The
it would still be
smallest
huge
person in
as
your
a
town,
kid.
the biggest animal. Yeah. Even a young rock, I mean, is
Massive.
Yeah. I mean, that egg was 6 feet tall,
I
3
just
feet
pictured
wide.
How to Train Your Dragon kind of thing.
How to Train Your Rock. Yeah,
Right.
just like Hiccup, Gideon will be missing a leg in about a week. So be careful what you give to your kids. Not safe for kids. All right. What y'all buying, if anything, from
I
Clyde?
was about to say, are any of y'all interested in anything? So, because we have the ship, anything that Goldbrand bought would just be purely to add to the zoo. So,
I'm kind of fantasizing about the idea of riding a fucking Pegasus or Griffin around, just around in general. But
I
And
mean, it's possible they would come in handy in some combats.
Oh yeah, well, there's also the fact that the airship is easily spotted from a distance. These things can fly low. They can fly through the forest. They can weave a bit. They can be a little more concealed.
Can we fly on them while we're fighting giants?
Yeah, I mean, actually, that would probably make it easier to. Most of them have the flyby ability, so you can hit and they don't get opportunity attacks. But you still got to be. You could still be swatted out of the sky if they get close to you.
Part of me definitely wants the most flamboyant thing, so I'm guessing Pegasus. Like Michael Jackson had a monkey. Like, imagine a Pegasus, dude.
That's pretty fabulous.
Fucking
So-
The
bubbles.
Fey stag can fly?
Yes, it is a stag from the Fey realm. Looks similar to Sirius in the respect that it looks like it's made of plants and materials that shouldn't go together. Scales, parts of it are furred, parts of it are covered in ivy. It's very unusual, but it can fly.
So what if we did the raven, the stag, the pegasus, and the griffin? 4? Is that
The
how many it
raven,
is?
the stag, the Pegasus, the griffin. So Pegasus, Davos.
I was supposed to say, I'm not sure we got everybody. I was trying to get everyone something that flies.
That's
I'll take that
4.
Griffin.
Griffin. Devin, I know, wants the raven.
I really like the stag too, but I think Tally should take the stag.
I kind of felt like it fit his little vibe going on. Okay, so Devin, subtract 42.
Oh,
Let me double check my math. So that's 2,000. That's 32. That's subtract 4,400 gold.
I agree, not letting Devin do the math.
Same. Seconded.
Would you guys like any of the crystal collars that can make your animal appear mundane for 300 gold each? Yes, 2 of them.
I feel like it's not
How
worth
do
it
you
for
mean
them.
So,
mundane?
The Pegasus would look like a normal horse.
Pegasus would look
Yeah.
like a normal horse. Most of them would appear horse-like. The giant raven, I imagine would look like an eagle. I don't even know what it would transition to necessarily.
I'm not sure it would. Yeah.
Yeah. Still be a big fucking bird either way.
Can it hold Goldbrand? Because that was kind of the point. In that
Yes,
one.
all
Yeah.
4 of those can carry medium creatures, and you are a medium creature, despite being big boy.
That's still.
I'm just thinking of my entrance into what is it, Waterdeep?
Yeah,
For
showing up on a
Daggerford.
fucking Pegasus.
Like, dude comes down on a Pegasus, like,
That is a
No-
big
Maybe I
power
just-
move.
with no lessons and falls on his gets bucked off.
right.
It's not a bad idea.
I suppose the collar would be potentially useful, so I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
So
Okay.
do you want to get both of them for 400 gold or just?
Both for 600 gold,
Oh.
which would bring you guys to a net total of about 10,000.
Yeah,
you
let's just get
Nope.
it.
All right.
All right,
All right.
bought both. He also asked if there's anything you want him to look for. I can get almost anything, man. You want a wyvern? You want I don't know. You want a hippogriff? You want a giant bear? A giant boar? What's your fancy?
Can you get some smaller creatures? Or,
Oh,
well,
of course,
younger
yeah, but
creatures?
It depends. Sometimes they're a little more expensive, but yeah, I could do that. Why?
I
He'll
just
turn-
pictured him wanting twin ferrets like Beastmaster.
He'll turn to the group and he'll say, I think we could perhaps get Gideon's. Perhaps not something he can ride now, but some things that will grow into some things he could ride later.
That's pretty fucking adorable.
Does Goldbrand know what a wyvern is?
Yeah, you would know that it's like a
Wait,
dragon.
oh,
You're getting a.
a
You're getting
wyvern. A wyverns would be pretty fucking cool.
Also,
if it was small enough.
I was thinking more like a parakeet.
I get him a goldfish to start, Dad. I will say, after reviewing last week's session, Goldbrand was a dick to 285.
Yeah, he was.
Knocked the fucking wind out of him.
About it.
He wasn't paying attention, Did something, threw his stone in the river, tried to. Like, Goldbrand's all about that tough love, apparently.
You do what you gotta do.
He tells you a wyvern, an adolescent, would be pretty close to 3K. That's a. Let me double check its CR.
I'm definitely open to other suggestions. He's trying to sell us a wyvern, so Goldbrand leaned into
Sticking
it.
with parakeet or like a carrier pigeon, so he can deliver us messages, so he can feel useful.
Yeah, the wyvern's gonna
Or
be
be
pretty
useful.
expensive. The wyvern's gonna be 3K. He says
What about a
parakeet,
worm? Baby worm.
like
baby
like a
worm?
landlocked dragon.
Yeah.
What about like a bearded dragon, where it's still a dragon, but not
Bearded
really?
dragons are dope.
I feel like
Right.
Davos is the only responsible one in this.
We could get Tim's and other dogs like
I
serious.
say, standing on top of my Pegasus.
I mean, hey, that's a practical animal.
What do we do with all these animals we just purchased? Wait, I meant to
if
say
you-
that I would like to have a stable, an
Yeah.
exotic stable,
Well,
a menagerie. I think you
If,
said,
if you
Virgin.
buy these, Daphne will tell you. Well, if you are building the landing deck on top of the keep, we could certainly add on to that and have a aviary of sorts for your flying creatures. We already have Ember spending most of his time up there while you're in town, so would not be too difficult. Probably
Dope.
add a couple hundred gold and a couple of days onto the build, but nothing that
Yes.
matters in the big scheme.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. All right.
Do it.
Add that landing deck with aviary, aerie, allery, aviary.
I think aviary is correct.
Words are hard. All right. So
English is-
giant raven, griffin, face stag, pegasus, both collars. Anything else?
When's will you come specs?
He
We're
says,
obviously good customers.
well, I try to rotate through, but I need to restock on some of my product. You cleared me out of about a little over half of what I had in stock, and I see you didn't rush to get anything that was landlocked, so I'll do some digging, see what I can find for you. Maybe a few weeks, month or two. Just depends on when I find something good.
What is a rocky? Maybe we can get some bait.
I'll keep asking a lot about this rock. I just gotta know what the fuck is up with that.
It's a
Can I-
big bird.
Oh, I know what the fuck a rock is. But what the fuck is up with you asking all these questions? Oh, how much would you buy a rock egg for? Oh, if we hypothetically had a rock egg, would you raise it for us? Like,
It's kind of like a running joke. It helps pass the time.
I almost want to ask for a deception check, but he's just
I
gonna
would-
roll his
I
eyes.
Oh shit.
God, y'all are ridiculous.
I mean, if we do we is Saphine still the only one we know that can cast message?
Let me see something real quick.
Sorry, I need to know. I mean, I'm down to just let him go because I don't think I want anything. But I just want to know if we can contact him if we got a hold
Now-
of the rock egg.
Well, message is the close range one. That's only 120 feet. You mean sending.
Sending. Yes, I'm sorry.
I think. Let me see something.
I have the scrying stone.
But I don't know if we could speak to him that way. Like, doesn't matter. I don't
mean
think
the-
we're gonna steal the
the
rock.
sending
Higher
stone?
DC.
Oh.
Oh, scry.
You mean the crystal ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can view people, but I don't think you can communicate with them. Now, if they're
Oh,
talking, you
okay.
can hear them, but they don't necessarily know you're there.
Got-
I will say... I'm trying to decide if y'all can abuse this. I will
Yes.
say that Daphne, in her studies, has learned it, and
Okay.
is willing to allow you a 1-a-day message, because it is a spell slot, a 3rd level spell slot, so it's nothing to, scoff at, but...
Cobra can't cast 3rd level spells. Okay. How about it? No, I'm down to let him go if y'all want to. We know how to get a hold of him.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. And Tally's not here! Ah! He told me he would be here. I had stuff.
Once Clyde's out of earshot, I asked the group if you think we can bargain with the giant for the rock egg instead of having to steal it and whatnot.
What should we offer him? I was thinking about
I
this.
don't know. A service, or maybe I doubt he'd be interested in monetary goods, but you never know.
Someone
science
roll a
worries
nature
about-
check. Or Goldbrand, finish that sentence, because I think you might be going that route.
Well, what I'm worried about is that the Deadstone's clefts will likely be replenished soon. It's like, even after the death of the Stone Giants, Thanes, they will return to that place. I don't know how long it will be before there are a multitudes of giants there's against. It's probably already
Yeah.
been several days since we left.
Yeah,
right?
It's been almost a 10-day, I think. Actually,
Oh,
you're toward the end of
yeah.
your rest. It's probably 2 10 days. Somebody roll a nature check for me. Or animal handling. I'll let you pick.
I have a plus. I'm not great at that. I have a
I got a
positive.
plus 4 to my.
That's
Wow.
pretty solid. Ooh.
Pooh.
Wow.
You gonna roll, Goldbrand?
Oh, I can if you want me to, sorry. They both rolled, so I didn't roll.
They
That
both
was
rolled?
rolled a 9.
Oh, is it on D&D Beyond?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, go ahead, Goldbrand. Let's see if you get a little higher.
And I'll handle it slightly better. 12.
Okay.
Slightly higher.
And I see a connection here. So, Goldbrand, you stole a bear cub from a mother.
Damn straight I
in a
did.
den and presented it to your wife as a betrothal gift, as is the custom of your people. You know that mothers do not like their children being stolen, and probably have a few scars that tell that story. If you try to go for this egg, it may not be the giant who has the say in it. Just food for thought.
Okay, so I also thought about this. That's since it's likely we'll have to fight the rocks. So we gather some allies from here and sees if they wants to tag alongs. And we just go take it.
I don't know, man. I don't want to have to fight a rock over it. Like, I feel like we got bigger fish to fry, but that's just me.
I think you're absolutely right.
There's
I would
no
agree.
bigger fish than a rock, let me tell you. there's like Teresk, and that is like the only thing I can think of. Like, jeez.
Yeah, I'm not feeling the rock turducken. Have a roast.
Oh god. Somewhere Griselda's like, tastes like chicken. All right.
Well,
We're gonna skip this.
We know where to find it, I guess, if we really
Yeah.
want to go back one day when
You-
we're all beefier.
You right.
oh
though.
god. Save the whole continent. Goes back to this one spot where this rock is. It kills it and takes its egg.
Level 20 characters. So the next day, or not the next day, but later that day, Helena comes up to you, and she presents you with a very potent poison, dragon's venom. I'm gonna drop this into your bag of holding chat so you guys can see what it do. But basically, if a person ingests it or is struck by a weapon that is coated in it, they have to make a Constitution save or take 24 damage or half as much on a fail. Or, excuse me, half as much on a success.
Ouch.
Can we coat more than one weapon with it?
You guys had the choice of like a one and done or like multiple uses, and you picked the one and done. This one's the highest level. The base for this is Wyvern Poison, and I will say that when you use this, there's a 50% chance that you get a second use. But there's also, it could either be 1 strike or 2.
And that's
okay, I got you.
man, that's a decent chunk of damage
It's pretty sizable.
depending on
Plus your weapon
what
damage
you
and
use
your
it on.
smite and
Like-
your green flame blade and everything else that you stack on it. So could be useful.
That's dope.
Alistair approaches you guys and presents you with your modified clothing. And I thought it might be fun to have you guys tell me what you're wearing.
Oh,
Goldbrand, I'm gonna put you on the spot. You picked intimidation. Why don't you describe what you think, and then I'll add some stuff onto it.
okay, well, like, I have to go with I only thought about this once, so that's unfortunate. So I have to go with the only thing I thought about. But so I would think that because Goldbrand wouldn't know anything about this, that Alistair would have pretty much fashioned him the equivalent of a suit. And the reason I thought that is
Those
because
chaps. Buns of steel are so intimidating.
I wish I just could see your coworkers' faces, like as they hear these random spouts of nonsense.
No, that's okay, because my second thought was something very vulgar.
That's
Anything
the one I
vulgar,
wanna
like
Leather
well, no,
daddy.
that was like, yeah, anything that made it that was, pretty much him going mostly naked to be intimidating. But the first one was put him in a suit because suits just make everybody look bigger.
Yeah.
Like those, it's
Okay.
the way they're made.
So, you requested a suit, and he did so, and he used a like a quilted woven fabric that actually makes you look a little taller, and your shoulders sort of sharper and more square. And you're a beefy dude, so I mean, it does add a bit to your stature. There's also elements of leather and like metal, like ringlets in certain places, and it's the functionality to show that you're a warrior. And to emphasize your fiercer traits, the colors actually contrast with your skin and your tattoos, so they make you look even more fierce by nature. Yeah. Okay. Davos, what you wearing with your deception?
Deception?
Yeah.
Something, formal. I guess I kind of pictured like Littlefinger from Game of Thrones. Like,
Little
kind of like,
I don't know what he looks
think
like. In the
that's-
show.
he's got like a little,
Peter
like,
Dalish,
kinda
I
tight-
believe is his
yeah,
name.
tight on the neck. Very formal, like form-fitting.
Okay. Yeah. And it.
But like maybe somehow it can somewhat conceal facial tics. I don't know. Like
well, it's less in that, and it's more in what he uses to distract from it. So there are elements
Yeah,
of
there you go.
he has used holy imagery of the symbol of Lathander in several places to sort
at
of
my neck.
give
Yeah.
that like
Mhm.
impression of this person is a man of God, they're trustworthy. There's a bit of a brooch here with like not an ascot, but like a little bit of a tuft here, tight around the neck. Very clean, very neat, very lighter colors, I would say. Whites and yellows, perhaps some grays in there. And you feel like you can get away with some shit you probably couldn't before. Bergen, you picked persuasion. What you wearing to this ball, my dude?
I guess it is fancy, and it is purple with green trim.
Purple with green trim. Are we thinking like robes or a cloak or like a suit or like a two-piece? What are you thinking?
Yeah, dude, you're
I guess
cleric.
what-
You can get fancy AF.
Yeah, roughly dance like medieval dancey time clothes.
Medieval dancey time. Like some like loose sleeves and like some
Yes, piratey.
Okay, yeah. He's piratey. All right, so it's sort of
Whatever he needs to
persuasion?
get the girl to agree to go with him.
All right, so you put it on, and it has this air of formality, but also this air of what's the word I'm looking for? Approachable. Like it doesn't seem so formal where you feel like the everyday person wouldn't talk to you. You seem like a man of the people while still a noble. And it sort of like you say, it's got like a light purple color for the top, and there's like a vestment with it that's green. Some dark leather pants, and you've got elements of different metallic elements upon the shoulders and the chest that just seems inviting. I imagine like it's like a V cut, but it's got like the strings between it. Good old Shakespearean bullshit.
I imagine the orange suit from Dumb and Dumber.
That's yeah. That's pretty good. I'm actually gonna get a refresher because I haven't seen Dumb and Dumber in ages. Oh yeah. It's just about as fly as that. You look like Dayman. That's fantastic. Excellent. You guys have your outfits.
Wow.
Yeah. You cannot wear these with your armor, which is going to be something that Daphne's going to tell you later. Miros drops by the
I got a dagger.
What?
I have a dagger. I'm gonna keep it hidden.
We'll get to that point. Miros delivers 3 improved winter cloaks, which provide cold resistance to the 3 party members, save Goldbrand. Osvius has returned after getting your letter, and he says that he'll keep his eye on the city and the inhabitants. The next day, day 12, is the last day before Midsummer and then Shieldmeet when the ball is.
Are we getting fucked up for Milchum?
Well,
Sorry.
that depends on you.
Keep
We'll
going.
get to that point. So, Bergen, you're on your way to the Shrine of Helm that you visit daily, do your prayers. Am I muted? Oh, you are muted, I see. You are on your way to the shrine to make your daily devotional to Helm, and as you're passing by the Temple of Lathander and Maleki, just behind the graveyard, you see Sarah, the Cleric, and Lord Amorous. It's the first time you've really gotten a good look at her, and she has this golden hair that's in a long braid, vibrant green eyes over pale white skin, sharp ears, and a cunning smile. And she has chainmail and a shield, as well as segments of plate armor and a blue dress, over a blue dress. I'm going to drop a picture in your Strongholds and Followers. You've technically already seen this one, but just as a recap. And you watch as she's chanting under her breath, and she casts what you recognize as a lesser restoration spell. And you watch as the gray and calcified flesh of Lord Amorous's legs returns once again to flesh. And he thanks her greatly and praises Lathander, and she tells him, "There, that should be the final treatment, but do let me know if you have any lingering stiffness." And he thanks her again and wanders off at a brisk jog, eager to enjoy his freedom of movement once again. She smiles and turns and is startled to see you standing nearby. And, Lord Bergen, it's so nice to see. Good morning. How are you?
I'm alright. How are you? I saw what you did there. Let me teach me that. How'd you do that?
Well, to be honest, I'm not. I'm sure this is within your capabilities. It was a simple spell, but normally could not heal this type of malady. But doing it every day for the past 10 days, I've managed to, bit by bit, make some improvement on the bits of his flesh that were calcified. I don't think I could restore a fully petrified person this way, but it's been exciting, you know. But you, I mean, having spoken to Helm, surely you have magics well beyond my league. It's so exceedingly rare to be.
Andy's got some lingering stiffness.
You're not here. No. I mean, to be spoken to directly by Helm, that is incredible. I mean, I've been a knight of Lathander for years, and have never been directly spoken to. That is a great honor. You must be exceedingly proud.
Lucky's probably more accurate, but, you know, just gotta roll with the punches and do what you do for who you do it for. Not a mercy.
Well, I'm sure that 'tis no mistake or luck or accident. I believe that the gods are very insightful with who they choose. And even if you don't see yourself as quite worthy of that honor yet, I'm sure you will soon prove to be.
Spanx.
Spanx? You...
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not gonna go the direction I was thinking of. But, I imagine you're probably off to do your daily devotionals, so, if you require anything or want to talk about, you know, Helm or Lathander or anything else, just, you know where to find me. And she, like, sort of hesitantly starts to walk away.
Word, I bow and go about my prayers.
Oh, God, I love the commitment. Oh,
That's clerics do.
Whew, I can't even breathe. All right. Well, this bit was also for
Am I in like sight? Can I see him just completely miss his opportunity?
You walk out of the tavern at about this moment and see them talk for a second and then go their separate ways, and you pick up attention, perhaps, like you get that she's a little nervous. He seems chill.
I swear, I just wanna mage hand tap her on the shoulder where she thinks it's him, and like
Oh, yes.
that's all.
Did
Just
you need
tap
to...
her on the shoulder. No, like to where she thinks.
No, she's talking to Birkin.
Okay.
I get up and look over my shoulder from kneeling down from my prayers and say, "I'm sorry." No, I'm good.
Oh, sorry. I thought you might have wanted to. Very well.
I do
Then,
have message as well. And I'm gonna tell her, ask her to the damn ball or whatever it's called.
the damn ball.
Suddenly, so many things make sense for Bergen in that moment.
Bergen gets up, jumps up, and says, "Actually, I was wondering, do you have a moment?"
Oh, of course. All the time in the world for you, my lord.
Oh, geez, well, just a moment. And perhaps an evening, if you're not doing anything on the night of whatever, would you mind joining me as a dance partner?
Oh, you for the ball, for the Shieldmeet Ball. Oh,
Yeah.
I've heard it's lavish and extravagant. I would love to. Yes, I think it would do good for people of our station to dismiss those that believe that Lathander and Helm are more enemy than ally. I think that would be a wonderful idea.
It could do that as well. Yeah, for sure.
She goes, well, I will see you tomorrow. I have some have to go down to the Lion Shield Coster and see if I can pick up a few things. And like she rounds the corner, and Davos, you see this sneaking out of like the inn and like peeking at them, but you don't notice this, Bergen, that she goes around the corner and just like and then sprints off toward the there's excitement.
I shoot Davos the mental thumbs up.
The mental thumbs up. Wow.
Would it be too
That's
late
limited.
to offer to pay for her address to be commissioned?
It would not be too late. Alistair is more than happy to take that, and I'd even say that you could probably BS your way and go tell her without, by the way, Lord Bergen says it's on him, and, just BS your way through it. Or you could tell Bergen to go do it, but...
I was just thinking like Bergen would present her the dress like a fair amount of time ahead of time.
I see.
Like, hey, as a thank you or something.
Yes.
Okay. So, you do commission the dress?
Davos told me that I needed to give you this. Something super awkward.
You say this to her, or you say this to Alistair? Or are you going to say
No,
this
I
once
would,
you have
I
the
would,
dress?
I would tell Bergen like, hey,
Do this,
kind of like I did with Helena, like go commission a dress and then bring it to her when it's finished, a day ahead of time or whatever.
Okay.
And I just pictured the interaction with him giving her the dress, like, oh, Davos said I need to give you this or something. Ruin it.
Beautiful. You give Devin subtract 50 gold from the bag, and Alistair says that he will create a fine dress, and he can get a good estimate of her size, and we'll make it adjustable enough to where it'll fit, without her knowing, her being sized and knowing in advance. Later that day, as it begins to grow into the evening, Ghalvin arrives, the dragonborn that you had freed from Grud Hog, and he looks much better now. When you had saw him, he was in a filthy loincloth, tattered robes, and had nothing but his bow, but he's wearing a neat leather armor, a dark cloak, and his bow is slung over his shoulder with no quiver in sight. And around his neck, there is a familiar-looking necklace that looks just like Safine's trinket that she lent you. But this instead is a vibrant, verdant emerald green. And it's currently tugging at his neck and leading him to Nightstone. As he comes in, Tally and the rest of you gather around, recognizing him. And he tells you, I have been led here by this artifact that Birdie Zellin gave to me. A small scale that guides me to ancient artifacts of the old draconic world that I can use to restore the protections of the realm. If I might ask, I think that you are in possession of something that could help mend the barrier between the realms. And
We may or may not have this object. I'm pretty sure they put it in the dungeon. It's Thanklithica's club, I'm assuming.
if you pull that out,
We can't
or
hold
if-
it anywhere.
okay,
Like I
if
assume
you
it's in
if
the
you
dungeon.
make mention of it, he will say,
No,
it is a Jotun. He doesn't make mention of it?
I mean, Ghalvin wouldn't have said anything. He wanted to say that they may or may not have this, but if that's not it, then I don't know what it is.
He wants to say they may or may not?
Yeah.
Okay. He says, no, while old Asturian relics would certainly do the trick, this leads specifically to draconian relics. Something that you have in your possession is likely that of an ancient dragon. Is there nothing that you suspect, or...
How ancient?
This would be from the 1,000-Year War, several centuries ago. Millennium, maybe. I don't know. That's a timeline thing.
This is all just a ploy to make us go look in the back folder.
If he will kind of like move around to try to see exactly where it's pointing, and it seems to be sort of bouncing back between Tally and Davos.
Tally and Davos?
The amulet is pointing to you two, so he's thinking that one of you or both of you might have an artifact of the old dragons. Anything unusual that you've come into contact recently? Something that you might have taken from a dragon?
O's.
O's,
Does
says
this,
Goldbrand.
does this body port count?
Poison?
No. Draconic body parts would not likely do this unless it was of an ancient dragon, and if you had an ancient dragon head on you, I would very clearly see it.
It's not even a talon. Do one of us have a talon still around our necks?
You all have talons, and if you
I
hold it up,
totally,
he sees it and he goes, "No, this is the talon of a young dragon. This is not something that has this capability. What I am talking about was crafted millennia ago, perhaps in the fight against dragon, or the perhaps against the war against the giants, perhaps a tool or an artifact."
Is it that axe you're lugging around there, Goldbrand?
This
No,
was
he-
not made for dragons.
He holds it up and doesn't do it, and then as he
Dragon Slayer.
So I have a thought. Is it the conches?
It's not the conches. It's good
Okay.
thought, but no. And he takes off the necklace and holds it and sort of lets it guide him, and it guides him lower.
Oh.
And when it gets close to Davos,
Hey, that's private.
when it gets close to Davos, it flicks toward his crystal ball.
Oh.
Where did you acquire this?
Found it.
May I take a closer look?
No funny business, but sure.
Understood completely. He takes it and he looks at it and he goes, "Ah, no, this is no ordinary crystal ball. This is a crystal ball of true seeing. If I had to guess, I would say it was old Gnawbones. Did you steal it from her lair? No scales off my back. She's an evil dragon. I have no allegiance to her."
I think where we got this thing from. I don't think it was Gnawbones, though. Was it?
Where did you get it?
Did we get it from the young dragon?
You got
Yeah, I
it
was
from-
about to say.
You got it from the young dragon, and you kind of put together that this was
Ah.
given as a from one green dragon to another. This artifact was given to her, and you also remember something that Maxine had told you way back in Golden Fields. That old Gnawbone always seemed to be abreast of things happening around Faerun without ever leaving, and you gather that this is how that she uses crystal balls like this to see beyond her realm. Beyond her domain. Let me rephrase that. I am not asking you to sacrifice this artifact, but it could be used as such if you ever were to need to. And Davos, this does unlock this. Now that you know it's a crystal ball of true seeing, you can use the true seeing ability under that on the crystal ball page. But he goes back to Tally, and it's still pointing to the bag of holding.
Oh, there's another one in there that's a shard. Like
Shard of what?
I don't remember what it's actually on. It's the one we found in the barracks in the what's it called? The Oracle. Is that?
Oh, you have a shard of the ice rune, but again, that's a Jotun item. That is not a draconic item. If you fail to produce anything, he goes,
Yeah, don't know.
very well. It's perhaps it is something that is meant to remain a mystery. But if you have any artifacts that can restore the mounds, I will be more than happy to take them and begin this process. I have already brought the planter that you bequeathed to me after we finished off the disgusting hag, and I've already planted it back in its location to where it can provide protection for the realm.
I see. So where did he put it?
Let me go to our map real quick, so I
Sorry.
can figure out where he put it.
No, for you. I mean, he didn't put it in one of the stands, I'm assuming.
He planted it in a nearby area, but it's not at the actual stand. I think this one is going to be Flint Rock. Yes, because he was heading north from Grudhog. Yeah, Flint Rock.
Okay.
I will actually...
Would you like some escorts if you took this to's, or at least the rounds? It gives him a general area of where Stone Stand is.
He says,
I don't know. I kind of want him to put it back.
kind of what?
Excuse me. I kind of want him to put it right there.
In Stone Stand?
Yeah.
Okay. If you say this, I will be more than happy, but I do fear that the Uthgarth that call that place home, or that, though that place is sacred, may be less willing. You, of course, seem to be an Uthgarth. Are you of the kind that can provide me with credibility to take this there? Or to take it there? You haven't actually told him what you want him to take. You, Gilbrin, you probably know.
Well, but see, here's
people,
the thing.
Your people go to Stone Stand infrequently, Not, maybe not once a season or so. At least annually or biannually. You could probably convince a few of the Uthgarth to help him carry it up, especially if they know that it's restoring what was taken.
That was my thing. How is he going to carry it out without some barbarians to take it up for him?
Barbarians, you've got some carts, you've got some stuff.
I mean, I think probably the best thing to do would be to put it in, like, as the city of Nightstone or as the Lords of Nightstone, put it in a cart and send it there with him and have it buried.
Okay, just him or with an escort?
No, I mean, some Uthgarth can volunteer if they would like.
Cool. If you present it to the tribe, a few of them do seem eager to restore it. Kodiak in particular is like, I would like very much to get away from this place. Even if I will return, you have my word on Uthgarth's name, but it would do me well to get some air. And a couple of others volunteer. Lothar, Lothar stays. I will say Griselda offers to go as well, and a couple of nameless fangs or claws.
Griselda's gonna go down. Hold up.
She would be offended if you act surprised at all. Don't think just because I'm nearly 80 that I can't kick your ass, Goldbrand. Starkeeper or not, you can't find your own asshole. God, she wouldn't say that, but jeez.
And confirm.
Oh, you can,
Okay.
can you? Well, that's just gonna lead to some shit. He also tells Tally some other things, but Tally's not here. Desmond, you're a bastard. I love you, but you're a bastard. So I will... Now,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry, I had a thing.
you had a thing?
Yeah, sometime during the downtime, Golran would have wanted to go to Bergen and say, because I didn't pick this up at the time. Bergen, you said that you had the dreams a couple of nights ago of a place with lots of snows. This person's was controlling snows and using magics with snows.
Perhaps. I don't know if I gleaned quite that much from it, but yes, there is snowy.
With snowies, swamps.
Oh. I don't know if I remember that particular detail or not, to be honest.
It was, yeah.
Okay, yes, it was. Can confirm.
Okay. Golran tells you, and Golran gives you a brief description of a vision of a place he saw that matches. I'm assuming now matches the description of. But
If you take a moment, you described like there were hardy wooden trees, a lake of ice that beneath was black, murky, putrid waters. And this lines up pretty well with what you saw, Bergen.
Yes, all that.
It is likely that we either must goes theirs or wills goes theirs. Having that now that I have seen it.
You think it's Azure?
I believe it might could be, yes. But I still don't know how it gets there. I didn't know if you had any thoughts about that.
Maybe we don't have to get there. Maybe we just have to get to Stormvault before he gets there.
Oh? I likes the ways you think. That's almost brutal for a holy person's.
Well, I couldn't figure out how to get there, so I figured maybe that would be the next best thing. Because it's gonna happen, or it should happen.
It's possible that we could. Oh, yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I don't know that Golran would know that. It's pretty in context. I was going to
Well, then
suggest
why are
that
you talking to him about this stuff? We got to teach him how to be around girls. We can worry about strangers. He's gonna make a fool of himself.
I did that because I assumed I absolutely needed to come with a +1.
It's
Plus,
highly
he put an
encouraged.
awful lot of effort into making it happen. So, again, I guess thank you.
You didn't ask her to dance, did you?
In so many words, I guess.
Jeez. We will definitely be training in the Nightstone Festival.
Alright, thanks, friend.
Gentlemen.
And you have been, through this week, Daphne has been teaching you some courtesies, some behavior that will sort of be expected, as well as a couple of the more traditional dances. And Davos, being the bard, knows one of them and picks up the other fairly quickly and has been helping you guys. You guys have been dancing with Davos in the ballroom of the ballroom of your own keep.
Call this one the Dougie. I'm gonna teach you how to Dougie.
Wow.
Davos is gonna be like Patrick from fucking SpongeBob, like Pinky.
Pinky's out! Pinky's out! I always thought it was funny because Patrick doesn't have pinkies, but
Yeah.
anyway. So, excellent. On the final night, the final night before Midsummer, the same day, Lucius approaches you, Goldbrand. Lucius being the Knight of the Order of the Aster, one of the three who had came, and he tells you, I would like to... A few weeks ago, you had a great bonfire within the center of the town, and you told us that if we had business that we would like to bring to the Lord's attention, that we could do so. Might we have such a thing tonight?
I don't see why it's fucking nuts. I like to imagine in the tribe, as long as like you were of a certain rank, Sluthe Fires usually didn't get turned down. Like you had them, and whatever was hashed out got hashed out.
You guys, we're gonna fast forward. You quickly assemble a bonfire at dusk and light it, and people from the town gather around. And Lucius steps forward. Or would you like to say anything before you open it up to the crowd. Is there anything that you guys want to discuss?
I mean, I can't think of anything that we would want, any issues we want to address.
Yeah, you guys have been
But
sort of
like with
informally
town,
discussing
like-
your plans and stuff, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Lucius will come up and throw in an effigy. And you see it's effigy of it seems to be a carved horse. And anyone who wants to can make a perception check.
Oh boy, I do want to do that. Gross.
High 12s. Anyone else want to throw in? There we go. Bergen, you will recognize this as you see that it is a horse, but it has a horn. It's a unicorn. And being a holy person, you would know that that is the symbol of the nature goddess, Maleki. He casts it into the fire, and he turns and says, "Several days ago, our temple was awash in light, and appearing on the top of this temple was a symbol of Lathander. Divine intervention in the truest sense. I believe this to be a sign that this temple is Lathander's chosen temple, where his Dawnbringer and the knights of his order might work from. I would like to propose removing the statue of Maleki from the temple and devote it solely to Helm and all of his radiant glory." When he says this, there's varied reactions. Hiral likes the idea. "Lathander, being the chief patron of our city, I say that the sun will shine on us favorably with it." Thara, the girl you met at the Shadowtop Citadel, who is leading the Ents, does not like this idea. She says, "It sends a message that Lathander is more important than the other gods. I don't think it's a wise decision." Rond, of the RD Elves, says, "Within the forest, there is a lodge. It could be renovated into a temple for her. I also worship Maleki, and I think that her being in being in an environment surrounded by the forest would do her proud." And Taylor Summerhawk, the apothecary, that Bergen had worshipped and that you know her to be a worshipper of Helm, ponders aloud, "I wonder what this will mean for worshippers of other religions, other gods. There's a shrine to Helm just behind the church. Would you have it moved too?" And they're sort of saying this to all of you as you are the deciding factor. They're just presenting their thoughts and feelings to you guys. What do you respond with?
Well, if anything's going to get removed, it's just going to get moved. We could just build another temple within the walls if you would want. You wouldn't have to refurbish an old. But it's up to you. Maybe you would. Maybe worshippers of Maleki would prefer a
Yeah.
more woodsy type place to worship.
We can still provide the funds for that too. Like,
Yeah.
Thara still seems resistant. Thara will say, "Historically, that temple is of Maleki. It is from the olden days, back when the elves of the Waterdeep and the humans of this settlement were bonded, were not at war before transgressions became unacceptable.
And build a new temple for Lathander.
For Lathander, yeah.
And if you say that, Hiral and Lucius are uproarious, like, ridiculous. Lathander chose this temple. It is topped with his symbol by his own might. It is to move him, I believe, is disrespectful of his wishes." And you get the idea, no matter what you do, not everyone's going to be happy. Welcome to leadership.
Yeah, can't always make them. Yep.
Go around.
So your choices are: remove the statue altogether, move it to a new temple within the walls, move it to the temple outside the walls. I guess you could also destroy the statue. I wouldn't recommend it, but there's all options on the table, I guess.
Can we take a vote for what the worshippers
Yes.
of Maleki would prefer their temple to be majority?
Yeah, that's what I was going to
speaking?
say. Ask Clara how she felt with the temple within the walls.
Is Thara the only one that's like super
Against
All,
moving
altogether,
Maleki.
there's about a dozen worshippers of Maleki in the town. And I misspoke earlier. You guys are about 200 now, not the 100. You were close to 100 to start with before you had the 60 people from Loudwater and Oralbar arrive, as well as the 30 from the Barbarian camp. Counting everyone all together, you're close to 200. You've got maybe even more than a dozen, 15 to 20-ish. But they seem fairly split. Some of them agree with Thara that Maleki has been in this temple for generations, and others think that relocating her to the forest is a better way to honor her. Most of her worshippers tend to live in the forest, as does Rond and Thara. When Thara is not with the Ents, she does dwell within the trees. So you're not going to get your way there. You guys have got to make the decision. I love watching you squirm. You're so worried about hurting imaginary people's feelings, and I love it.
I was gonna say, out of all the ways to square,
How would
this is one of the
Thara
better
then
ones.
interpret Lathander being present at that temple? Then, if it wasn't meant to be, if it was meant to be just for Maleki, then why would Lathander show himself?
She's not suggesting to make it solely for Maleki. She doesn't mind them sharing a temple, but she thinks that removing her from it is disrespectful. I'll say that Integrity, the tiefling who is also an Order of the Night, Knight of the Order of the Aster, tells you, I believe all is fair. Each god has a worshipping place. While I understand it may not be where things have always been, it is... Temples are built. Temples are often destroyed. It is not uncommon to have an exodus of sorts.
Gora's just like, oh, okay.
Interesting. What's the benefit of making this solely for Lathander / Helm?
If you ask, Lucius will say, if we show our devotion to the Morning Lord and say that we are solely prepared to represent him and have a devoted space for him and his kind, it shows us that we are truly worthy of his guidance, and I believe that we can expand upon that temple, become more than just a temple, perhaps advance to a citadel, a cathedral. To build something of this stature would not only draw in worshippers of Lathander, it would gain you more weight with the Order of the Aster. Instead of having but 3 of the 80 knights here, you could have several. You will also draw in priests, holy men, clerics.
Yeah, I want to make it solely Lathander's, but offer Thara any resources she needs to, since she seems to be the head of the Maleki Temple, wherever she would like to put it, and whether that's within the walls or without.
I think I second that motion as like the best course of
It doesn't matter
action.
to me. Whatever the people of Maleki want is, I want them,
Right.
at least some of them.
There seems to be some discourse between them as they talk for a moment, but in the end it seems like Ron's suggestion comes through of renovating the temple. Thara still isn't fully on board with it, but, you guys have made the decision, or you guys are leaning toward the decision of making it solely for Lathander, so it has to go somewhere. So Thara's like, not what I wanted, but I guess it's close enough.
Sorry, girl.
Fuck
We
you.
also
No.
need to we also need to build say temples for helms. I saw that giant glowing bullshits that saved our lives.
Yeah, I was gonna say like maybe I don't know if we have enough room for it now, or maybe we might have to wait till we expand again. But
You have
in
room for
the
a
next roundabout, okay, I was gonna say maybe on the next roundabout of like upgrading shits.
Okay.
After we come back from our next haul.
Excellent.
Okay.
The motion is passed. The people scattered to the night, and plans are made. And on the following day, it is midsummer, a holiday that all of you have experienced numerous times, celebrated differently among your cultures, perhaps with food and dining, perhaps with sports or games or music. It is a joyous day, and as it is the first holiday that you lords have been present, the town goes all out.
Yeah, that's what I say.
A lavish festival is thrown with all of those things. Music, food, games, plentiful drinks. And Malenia, Davos's mother, comes to you, Davos, and says, I was wondering if you could help me with something. I want to do something for your father. Davos, pay attention.
Yeah. What is it?
Well, I want help with a song. One of yours.
Ooh.
Do you think that the Fae Fighters would be willing to help me out?
For you, Mom? Of course.
Excellent. Let me do two things before I start this.
Oh no.
Oh no, I didn't mean go away forever. No, come back. Okay. She gathers you and the bards together and tells you of the song, which you already know, and everyone in the group knows it. It's a very popular Fae Fighters tune that even if they didn't learn it from Orin when they were in their individual spots, now that they have reconvened and been playing music together frequently, they all know it well. And in the close to the end of the evening, it's still sunup, but Malenia comes out into the courtyard with all of your bards in tow, and you see that all the rest of you see that the bards are just sort of giddy with a fun energy, and Malenia speaks out to the crowd. Hello, Nightstone. I'm Malenia, but you probably know me better as Davos's, Lord Davos's mom. As many of you know, my husband was taken from...
whistles.
Yeah. Almost a year ago. By the Stone Giants. But through the valiant efforts of the Lords of Nightstone, my husband has been saved. It was the longest year of my life when he was gone. I was hopeless, aimless, and spent much of my time in mourning. Before Davos was the Dawnbringer, my son wrote and performed music with his band, the Fae Fighters. And Anessa, Gideon, and a few other citizens sort of cheer and whistle and, shout out some of their favorite songs. Freebird! No, after Erenbor was captured...
I was going to.
After Erenbor was captured, we presumed him dead after weeks of searching. But I found this song playing in my head over and over and over, and now that he's back, it just feels too perfect not to share with you all. And she dips her head towards Timpani, who begins to strike the drums. Within seconds, Davos, you know exactly what song this is, and you join in with a smooth bass line. Just as Orin comes in with the crunchier notes. Mezzo and Medley join in on your leads. Malenia, homely and quaint-looking, moves to the front of the stage as she takes a shaky breath. While Davos's father passed on his righteousness to Davos, you gather it was his mother who gave him his righteousness. And Davos, you were reminded that before your mother was your mother, that she was a bard herself, sang to you hundreds of times. She raises an arm toward your father. And he is teary-eyed and smiling, beaming at his wife. His arm pulls in your sister, and she buries her head into his chest as she too cries. And as Goldbrand chants lowly, fog begins to seep around the stage. Sparks fly from Mezzo's violin, creating a light show. Medley plays her ocarina as the wind picks up. Gideon is crowd surfing once again across the courtyard.
In armor?
And your mom turns her hand to you. She locks eyes with you and places her hand on your cheek. Tears are streaming down her face. She shakes a bit as she draws you in for a hug. And you think that this might be the end of it. But then she pushes away. She turns back. And she belts. Heads bang. Fists fly. And everyone sings along. There goes my hero. The late rays of the midsummer sun shine brightly on the stage as you bathe in its glow. Your father races to the stage, climbs up to meet your mother in a fierce embrace, and your sister is just behind you and glomps you into a group hug, and for the first time, your family feels truly whole, back to the way it was. And with that, my dudes, I'd go ahead and take our break.
Y'all are gonna make me not want to take down the Vonendot and all that. Like, I'm gonna just stay here with my fam, yo.
Jam, yeah. Oh, don't worry, there'll be more time for that. But I will see you boys in about 10 minutes. Deuces. There goes my hero. Sorry. I dig in the musical numbers. I guess that's what you would call them.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna take a wild guess. That's not popcorn, actually. I thought it was at first. Is it chips?
No.
Oh, okay.
Beef jerky.
Jerky. I should have known.
The only thing better than beef jerky is popcorn.
Popcorn. Thank you for that. Sorry, I'm looking through the bag of holding things. Thank you for that. That was a lot of Stefan, do this. Stefan, do this. Stefan, do this. But
You're all good.
you are the accountant. Ooh, we got a Bergen.
Yes.
How I do, my dude?
Good, good.
So completely unrelated to story purposes, I'm curious. Was Spencer aware of like the Sarah setup, and that he was like, "No, I'm gonna have Bergen be unaware, oblivious to it," or was
I was trying to like
avoid it?
keep Berg, yeah.
Which I
Like I was aware, but I was trying to like, yeah, keep him uninvolved, I guess. But
no, I get that.
after the persistence, I figured, well, fuck, it's probably like mandatory. They're probably just not trying to outright say it. So let me just get this +1 thing done
No,
and
yeah.
be done.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, because I didn't want you to feel like you were bound. My worry was that you didn't feel like
I
there
know
was.
I could have like really dug my heels in if I wanted to, but I was like,
Oh, okay.
fuck it.
That makes me feel better. No, I don't know. I just didn't know if it was like when I was thinking of you not having a +1. I'm like, is it because I haven't presented anyone in the story that like has had a connection? So I'm like, I want to do that, even regardless of if
I did
I
like
don't know, it
I
drew
did like
attention.
what she said though, like about the idea of like, as far as like image goes, as the relationship between like Helm and Lathander,
Yeah.
as there's that stigmatism and whatnot.
Mm. And it's I don't know. That's gonna. Gosh, I can't say too much, but No, I think it was fun, and I enjoyed the interaction, even with Davos's like heavy-handed like shove.
Stigmatism too.
All right.
That's what my optometrist says.
Your astigmatism, yeah. I was about to say, I think I heard that right. Let me get my camera back on now that we're all back. What are your thoughts on that interaction, Davos? I don't know if you heard too much of what we were talking about.
I caught the end of it. I was trying to reconnect my Bluetooth earpiece.
Oh, gotcha.
All I heard was the stigmatism between Helm and Lathander.
No, yeah, talking about Bergen and Sarah's interaction, I guess is the word for that.
Did I say stigmatism? Whoops. I meant, you know what I meant.
Stigma?
Yeah, stigma.
Yeah. I knew what you
I
meant.
almost said stigmata after I said astigmatism.
I would believe you. Like if you're like, yeah, stigma, that's a word, sure. No, I was right there. Yeah. Picking up what you're putting down.
I was thinking that necklace that was pointed to me might have been referring to my pauldrons, but I decided to let that one go.
Oh my god. Oh, hit me while I'm down. Oh god.
Is it his pauldrons?
No, but that's
Oh.
he's joking at pauldrons like we've been doing the whole
Oh.
campaign.
Okay.
I heard that episode the other day and I'm like, yeah, motherfucker. That was 6 months ago?
Wow.
Just agree on shoulder pads.
Shoulder pads. So session 8 was in November. I may not have
Don't
session
get me
1
started
notes
on gorgets.
on this anyway.
Pauldrons was before that. I think that was like the first session.
It was
It was pre the first session. When it
Was
first,
it when we were fighting the Iron Ring?
that was maybe how it like
Started?
kind of became an ongoing
Yeah.
thing, but it
'Cause
was before. I want to say it was
I think
before
you're
the
right.
campaign. Like
Because
maybe
I was just thinking this is the first time I've heard it, so that must have been the first one. But
right,
like thinking about it, I think you're right that was around the table with you, me and Stefan and Devin.
right. He was talking about maybe his armor, and then or whatever, and they're like, no, it's a pauldron, or you said a pauldron, and he was like, that's not what they're called,
Yeah.
or whatever.
The dispute began.
Right.
No, but you guys do have something draconian on you. You just got to figure out what it is. Not on you physically, but in your possession. You riding dirty with some dragon shit, is what I'm telling you.
It's the
Yeah, that
crystal
poison,
ball.
right?
No, you got some. Well, no, because again, young dragon wouldn't give off any of these vibes. This is only like ancient dragons from the old days, back when it was just giants and dragons and prey. And there was nothing like humans weren't an established force. Elves, dwarves, predates all that shit. I
The only
think
thing
dwarves
I
were
can think of
underground.
is the bag has something called the Rod of the Bonendod.
Again, that's not draconic. That's
I
giant.
see that. I figured maybe because
it was it. Now you're on the right track of like maybe these things can be wards for the realm in a way, like protecting it from rifts, but you're not on the again, just draconic stuff is what he can find.
I guess we know that it was the Bonendod was made to fight dragons. That was my train of thought there. It was
Yeah,
got
it's
mixed up.
I don't think you'll get it quickly. It's purposefully like a clue, you know. You may not have any answers. Anyhow, is there anything else you guys wanted to do on Midsummer? Just saying like, this is what I spent the day doing, or this is what I did, or just for shits and gigs. I kind of just wanted to get that in there.
Mingle amongst the people, drinking lots of wine.
Dig it.
Festival.
Yeah.
Kind of like Coachella or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
Fuck
Davos
is
Bergen, or excuse me, Goldbrand Bergen.
No, just I guess partake in the merriment.
Revelry to be had.
I put on my notes that Goldbrand was going to raise hell, so Goldbrand raises hell. He doesn't
Goldbrand
want to
raises
like
hell.
Yeah, he doesn't want to
Oh, he
like
has a good time.
cause any lasting damage. Yeah.
There's like
Yeah,
a
I was
bunch
about to
of carnival games like Outswing,
Doesn't hurt.
Ghalvin the giant to knock the rabbit up into the pole or whatever.
That's
Mm.
I'd say there are like feats of strength and dexterity that the people have set up as like games,
Yeah.
and
like
while it's a
grappling
challenge for
combats,
like
striking matches and like things
yeah,
of that.
yeah,
It bugs
mean-
the tribe.
yeah. Oh, I didn't even think about the tribe getting it on because it is a holiday to you too. This is a recognized. It is for you. It's a seasonal thing more than it is a holiday, but it's a
Yours
day
is a
that you
little
recognize and celebrate.
Outlaw the stone giants
Out one more time.
or the hill giants. Outroar them.
Outroar
That's one of the games.
Instead of bouncy houses, it's the hill giant set up over there, and boing, boing, boing.
On their belly.
Yes. Jesus. What the fuck did you think? Don't answer that.
No,
Actually,
Didn't know if you meant like
This-
on them or they just set up the bouncy house because of their strength or
Oh, of course.
whatever.
No. They are the bouncy house.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
That you go back and forth between the two. The wolves like snap at you, like not trying to kill you, but enough to get you scared and laughing and shit. It's a wild time. You'll have a really weird festival going on.
I even heard that Davos walked through with a Pegasus at one point. It was
Yeah,
wild.
You notice the increase of large flying creatures in the area? It's kind of terrifying. Like I saw a griffin. Like I was just at the outhouse and turned the corner and bam, and then a fucking giant bird of death is like perched on the keep. That seems ominous. Are we the bad guys? Are we the baddies? Like,
Can I spend some time with that
parakeet.
griffin?
I don't know what you're talking about.
yeah,
It's
all
just
of
a
you,
parakeet.
all of you roll. We'll say 2 animal handling checks. There are certain things you can do to influence the situation if you want to drop a thing.
Wow.
Mmm.
Fucking look at that.
We're going to say it happens at the festival. You guys decide that this is the day to break out all the stops. And like y'all go for a victory lap. No saddle.
Wow.
no.
reins. You
I might
grip
have just
by the
lost the
feathers
Pegasus.
or the fur and go for a spin.
This was Davos' idea.
And it's
Amazing.
precarious for a moment. Like there's that bit of the animals aren't quite used to your particular weight, particularly the raven for Goldbrand, and it just you guys are probably in full armor unless you guys are wearing your fancy clothes, but you guys are it takes them a second to sort of get the groove, but they make a perfect little arc. And while there's a little unsteadiness at the beginning, it's a very excellent first display of riding creatures. I'd say, what was Tally? Tally has the stag? I'll roll one for him real quick unless somebody has his sheet up. I hope he fails just for the irony's sake.
Yeah,
You all
I
did this
got on that
perfectly.
one.
That would be pretty fun.
No, I did.
Your animal disappears into the
Yeah.
woods.
Got a 5 and a 3.
What, animal handling? $11. Tally is rougher. Tally takes off. He actually falls into the moat. The stag like goes to jump, and it's almost beautiful. Like it jumps, and before it makes like full contact with the ground, it jumps again, and it like bounces, like leaps through the air without ever touching the ground, like a double jump cheat code or some shit. But Tally does not hold on well, and after about halfway through the first lap, he tumbles off into the water, and you hear oh, like ooh, and different reactions from the people as they're all cheering for all of you, but see this one little misstep in the process. And with that, my dudes, Midsummer comes to an end, and on we go to Shieldmeet. Before departing, Daphne gives you advice, says she has the girls dress well, and presents the dresses that you presented to her. Helena in a rather trim, form-fitting black dress, floor length, and Miss Sarah, we'll say, sticks with her blue. But you notice that there's a part of her, there's like this really elaborate, like golden embroidery across her chest and her shoulders. And when you look closer at it, you see that there's suns and gauntlets, like stitched in throughout this. You can't really see them initially, but after talking to her for a bit, Bergen, you realize that it has the 2 emblems, and it's like, oh. And Goldbrand, who are you taking? We haven't. I think I know who you're taking, but
Well, I thought about this a little bit.
Is
And-
Maria?
Well, all I want to say is, for the record, Devin would check with his wife first, but that's not really the way Goldbrand's world works. As mentioned before, the tribe is not monogamous, so like I think he would end up just inviting Daphne because he needs somebody that can navigate the social things that he cannot.
Yeah.
Hydia cannot
Which
do
is
that
fair.
either. He wouldn't hide this from Hydia, but he would probably take Daphne.
Excellent. Daphne is thrilled and like, oh, God, you waited to the last minute. I mean, we were literally about to go onto the ship. It is ridiculous. Oh, man. By the way, can I have your bag of holding? She asked Taliband. And he seems a little sus at first, and she insists, I'm not going to take anything permanently, but for the women, it is important to dress as ostentatiously as we can. The more signs of status and wealth will help present more power for you. And she passes out some of the necklaces, the rings, the bejeweled things that you guys have acquired over your adventures. And she tells you guys that you need to focus on making connections with Waterdeep, Secomber, and Lady Daggerford, of course. Their lords are nearest to us and in powerful positions to be allies or enemies, as well as the 3 largest cities surrounding us. The Waterdeep lords are anonymous and will be costumed to completely conceal their identities. Each of them is represented by a different color and runs a separate part of their government. She also tells you that it is a night of revelry. This is something where fun is to be had. Do not try to lean in too strong into interrogations or making deals and alliances if the situation does not seem to call for it. Lastly, no weapons, armor, aside from a stray piece, pets, or dangerous magical artifacts are allowed.
Anything... So that's like 2/3 of us.
Yeah. Weapons, pets, dangerous magical... Yeah. So you guys are going to have to hide. If you want to get something in, you have to hide it. If you want to go in and think, I have spells, or I have, Tally's like, well, no problem. I don't need a weapon, and, howdy fucking doody.
Goldbrand asked Daphne how well they are checked at the door.
You are inspected by the guards of the castle, but it is not usually something over thorough, unless the guard's a bit of a creep, you understand.
Do you take the weapons in?
Would it be best for the women to hold like a small dagger? Like they're not going to go checking under skirts, whereas they might give us a pat close to the old Johnson.
It is worth a try, but they will have to be the ones to keep it concealed and not suspect. Meta-wise, they would have to make a stealth check instead of you. So, for what it's worth.
Oh.
Yeah, I got magic.
Yeah, okay. Tally also mentions...
I think Goldbrand wants to take his onyx. It's not... I guess it is onyx. It's
his tablet?
His stone hand axe. Imagine he can wear his tablet under his suit. But his hand axe made of stone. He's gonna fashion some kind of harness or strap for it, so that he can carry it like an appendix carry, like you would carry a gun. So it's kind of like over his stomach. Like, I don't know if that makes sense.
I got you, yeah.
But just under his suit.
She also says that you could try to hide something in the bag of holding, and there's also the option that oh fuck. I just thought of it when you're talking about your axe. Damn. Okay. Well, you do have the bag of holding. If you could probably sneak that in easily enough. And if you have something in there, if you need it, it's not too far away.
So we can all put our weapons in there.
The axe does not fit.
Oh.
Because it can go 2 feet maximum. And that's a pretty big axe head from like the back of it to the front. You do have, as Davos mentioned, your greatsword, which can fit into it.
Well, I'll put that in there then.
Okay.
Oh, reliable.
In there.
What was that?
I said mace in there.
Mason there?
Sword of Erenbor.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. You guys depart, unless you have anything else you wish to do within the town. And a few hours later, you arrive via airship. Let's see, a nice little moderate city before you. Not called Waterdeep. Where are you? There you are, Daggerford. not as large as Waterdeep, but significantly larger than Nightstone. Nestled against the river's edge is a small port, and surrounding the city is city walls is a thin, stagnant moat. The western part of the city is covered with dozens of buildings filling the walls. I will also say this is tilted, so north is not up, so north is
North is
to the
to the
left.
left.
Yeah, so the western part of the city is what looks like the southern side. Covered with dozens of small buildings filling the walls, with narrow streets, bustling markets, and lights, music, and the smell of fine foods, welcome you to this most revelrous festival. The eastern side of the city stands a mighty keep, behind 2 layers of walls and surrounded by rolling green grasses. The grounds of the keep are trimmed with trees, shrubbery, and artful topiaries in the shape of dragons, pegasi, griffins, and others. Currently situated outside the walls are 2 other airships, one of which Daphne points out as the ship of the Waterdeep Lords. Westwind Wyvern lowers steadily to the fields, and almost immediately you see the guards approaching you on a broad boxed wagon, ornately decorated. They're a couple hundred feet away from you at the moment. She tells you we will be inspected in just a moment, so if you have any last minute things to bring aboard, you can. Bergin, your gauntlets with the gemstone, your focus, you could probably keep that. And you, Davos, could keep your necklace as well. Goldbrand, while yours is not quite as decorative, I imagine you could say that it is an Uthgart's costume piece, is the word that comes to mind.
But tell them it's sacred because I keeps it. That's not necessarily true. But
That will pass, more likely. Trying to think of anything Tally has. He's gonna put the sword and the bow in there, but he has his knife, so yeah, he's good. All right. You guys exit the airship, and the guards search you. I need each of you to make a stealth check for me, please.
I think I can pass. I think I can cast pass without a trace.
So Goldbrand's bringing the axe. Davos, are you hiding anything on your person?
God.
Negative. Just put the sword
Oh,
in the bag
no.
of holding.
What?
Just put the sword in the bag of holding. That was it.
Okay. Bergen.
So
Did you try to smuggle anything? Like, were you wearing?
I don't think so.
Okay. I might be a unassuming mule, but no. Okay. No.
So I don't
he
think
pats
Goldberg
you
would have
down,
taken
and
the axe.
well, for nat 1, we'll say that the guard like grips too close to the what did you call it, the Johnson, and is like, hey, what's this? And you have to have that awkward interaction, and which Goldbrand and Davos are probably enjoying, just for the humiliation's sake. So there you go. There's your nat 1. Doodaloo. They take you up the castle steps. And atop the steps, situated by a large door, is a finely dressed servant with a long scroll and quill, who bows deeply and asks you what title you would like to be referred to as, announced as.
Oh. I mean,
Lords of Nightstone?
yeah, are we gonna do the Lords of Nightstone, or are we gonna change? This is our opportunity to change our name to something
Well, he also
thematic if we want.
he also tells you they're individual, so you can say Goldbrand, Starkeeper, First Axe of, or, blah blah blah. You could say Davos Dawnbringer. You can flare it up a bit to try to make a bigger impact if you would like.
Hell yeah, Davos the Dawnbringer, one of the Lords of Nightstone.
Davos Dawnbringer, Lord of Nightstone. He bellows out into this room as you make your way up the steps. Before we continue on, Goldbrand, title?
Title. Okay, so Goldbrand, if this was explained to him, would give him like Goldbrand, Starkeeper, First Claw. He would do whatever was customary in the tribe. Like he would give the list that he has amongst other Uthgard.
Okay.
However long or
presents
short that may be.
Takes a deep breath before and has a pant after. Bergen. Bergine? Spencer?
I gotta.
Oh. You there?
Yeah,
Just binged in and
that's
out.
better. Okay.
yeah, did the thing too.
Did the thing. Fuck you, Discord. No, please give us money. Bergen, you are a White Hawk, I think, in the
I was gonna say it was a white
Order of
something.
Gauntlet. White Hawk, I'm pretty sure. It's like I don't know. It's probably the fourth from the highest rank. Like, you know, you're a sergeant or something equivalent thereof. And if you say that, he will present you as such.
Yeah, call me that.
Bergin Whitehawk, or Bergen Stonespire, Whitehawk of the Order of the Gauntlet. And as he ushers you into this, you see a lavish ballroom filled with countless swirling figures in sharp suits, swirling gowns. Oh, that's not the link that I wanted to play.
Rip.
Whoopsie. This is the right link, right? Copy. There we go. You see before you dozens and dozens of wealthy figures, opulently dressed and covered in gemstones and jewelry. A small 5-piece band, ornately dressed in blacks and golds, plays a fine, dark waltz that commands the ballroom as the aristocrats weave and swirl in unison. An aura of power and station fills the room. As if you turn and clap at your entrance, you find yourself trying to stand a little straighter, with more poise. You notice that some of the figures are concealed in ornate masks that oddly appear almost as if marionettes, if not 1 inch of skin is shown. And Daphne leans in and says, "Those are the Lords of Waterdeep. It looks like 6 of them are present." She also points out a finely dressed, though admittedly out-of-place looking man with rough features of a warrior. And she tells you, "That is Lord Secomber, a humble man who rose to the rank of Lord not unlike yourselves." With a final glance about, she tells you that Lady Daggerford isn't here yet, and usually arrives last. So we go to the ballroom. I've put out an icon for each of the people that you're potentially interrogating, and if you guys would like, you can keep any notes or at least have a face to associate with the name to help it, you know, be more memorable.
Do we all have masks too? Or is that because these guys are lords?
Yeah, because those are Lords of Waterdeep. Lord Secomber at the top does not, and most of the other people do not.
Oh, I see.
A few odd and ends, but this is sort of when Waterdeep has court, they have it anonymously, so they are concealed even from each other. And you can go and speak to any of these people that you would wish, probably in pairs or solo, as in one or two PCs. Your NPCs are at the edges of the conversation.
Lady Daggerford's not here.
Not yet.
Where do we go first? Lord Secomber's a neighbor? Like, are they the next nearest city?
Yes, Secomber and Waterdeep are both adjacent to you, but about the same distance too, I think. About 3 days. 3 or 4 days.
Ghalvin wants to sculpt the room when they walk in and are announced.
Well, they arrived before you. These are people that are in the ballroom already.
No, I'm sorry. I'm talking about. I'm sorry. I'm backtracking a little bit. When we walk in, how are we received when we were announced?
Excellent. Make a perception check for me.
Shit,
and if anyone would like to, they can also make a check. 26. I'm sorry. Never mind. I recant that. With the 26, you pick up on quite a bit. You see that certain figures, like the woman in red, Lady Scarlett, as Daphne tells you, does not seem openly welcome. She looks at you, but she does not clap. Lady Azure claps. Lady Ivory looks suspicious. Skeptical of you, perhaps. Surprised. Lord Sage, hard to read, completely covered. Lord Umber seems drunk and well into his drink, uninterested in the party or whoever is announced. Lord Ochre, intrigued, but again, difficult to read precise emotions just with their body language, even with the nat 20. But Lord Secomber seems relieved almost to see you there. I think that's the 7 that you see.
I would think after they got in and got acclimated, is there a place where Ghalvin understands there is alcohol?
Oh
I don't
yes,
know if
there
he
are
knows what a
servants
bar
all
is,
about
but-
with
Okay.
mostly wine, I will say. You could probably find one or two with beers that travel about, but most of it is wine and champagne.
And I think Ghalvin will share with the group. He says, "I think we should find some of whatever it is that these children's drinks, and then go speaks with that man's over theirs, and he'll
Okay.
try to be very discreet about pointing out Lord Secomber. He'll say he looks very relieved to see us."
Excellent.
I would say we're not going to all go up and talk to him. So if just 2 people want to go there, I'm going to take Helena onto the dance floor and blend in.
Excellent.
Okay.
Bergen and Goldbrand, since you're the two
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
I'm gonna meta that just a little bit. Tally says that
Bergen's
he
very
will
trustworthy.
keep an eye out from a distance, and who did he invite? Who would he invite?
Saphine. That was old.
Saphine is not.
That was
you
the
know,
only
he's cheap to
suggestion I
invite.
had. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. You find drinks quickly and go your separate ways. Davos, just for shits and gigs, roll a performance check for me. We're gonna see how you and Helena tear it up. I will say roll with advantage because Daphne gave you guys lessons too.
I'm scared.
I'm trying to see. Davos?
Yeah, I got a 15 and a 13. Is it not going through on D&D Beyond?
No, I was looking for it. I might have my screen too small though. Anyway, you guys do fairly well. You keep up with the pacing, the timing. You blend in well. Don't stand out as exemplary, but you don't seem out of place either. You guys approach Lord Secomber, and he is unmasked. You see a human man with a rough face, weathered by age and battle. And he, when he sees you approaching, he cuts close and extends a hand and goes, "Oh, I'm glad to see you here. Please, Lord Secomber."
I think Ghalvin would reciprocate if he understood. I don't know if barbarians shake hands.
You might grip his arm instead of the handshake, but he grips back pretty well actually. You're a little surprised. You expected flimsy nobles to be weak. He tells you, "Thank you. I hate these events, but I really was hoping that you would be in attendance. I'm hoping to talk to you of an alliance. I will admit, Secomber is not a much different size from Nightstone, but you have attracted an awful lot of trouble, but staved it off at every turn. Don't look skeptical. 2 different armies have attacked your town in the last 3 months.
Both of them lost. I guess that's
Yeah, plus
very
Cloud Giants
worrisome.
before that, so
Yeah.
shit's going down over here.
It's made he's this ways for some times. I can't say he's used lots, but warned. What do you think, Bergens? I think we'd have to take as the rest of the group's twos.
Yeah, we can't speak for our group, but I don't see why not. I'm always like kind of a more the merrier kind of guy, as long as everything checks out here on the up and up. You know.
Thank you. No, that's good to know. I do understand due diligence and all that. Yes, I have to say, I have been delighted to see that your collective interest seems to be in your people rather than in your pockets. It has been difficult. I hate politics, but the greed, the untrue nature of it all, the feigning, the acting, it's disgusting. I'm happy to see some people who seem honest. This is a scream in the background. Ignore that.
Do I believe him?
Make an insight check. 19. He seems honest. Like you could, like,
Okay.
while your nat 20 gave you good bits on the Waterdeep Lords, but with him especially, like he is not concealed as well. You saw the look of relief, like his shoulders, like the exhale, and was you you gather, was really looking forward to making this type of alliance. And you gather it makes sense. Tactical. The next tribe over wants peace treaty.
Just kind of have fun.
Says, I will, I'll be in touch, but I do appreciate you,
Is
being-
Daphne with Goldbrand? Can they not begin?
They can come into the conversation. Oh, yeah. If you want, she can chat with him for a bit.
Yeah, to begin
and-
the necessary arrangements, I guess.
Gotcha.
Speak to our secretary.
Yeah. She begins to talk, and you guys turn, and you see that Tally has been cornered by Lady Azure.
Oh. Does Tally look uncomfortable? If the answer is even a little yes, Goldbrand would be like, just heading that way.
Okay.
Big strides, like,
He looks
the fuck do you
caught off guard, and as you approach, you realize why. As Lady Azure turns to you, and ooh, well, it's good to see you boys again. I gotta say,
Oh shit.
it's been a long time since you've seen face to face, not mirror to well, whatever shiny in the vicinity. Y'all look.
Lols.
Oh, come on. Y'all look a little shocked to see me here. You didn't think I was some backwoods magic peddler, did you?
Not really, but this is a surprise. I'm going to go find some more drinks.
She snaps, and almost immediately a tray comes in, and she passes it over. Oh, don't move so quick. Come on now. I've got some secrets to let you in on.
Ooh.
That's terrifying. That's yikes.
It's terrifying. She leans in, and you guys have formed sort of a small huddle, the three of you plus her, and she says, I have to admit, I didn't plan to be discovered this evening, but you are the only people who know me here, so just don't be dropping any names where you shouldn't be. She tells you, I've long been a Lord of Waterdeep as their arcane consultant. I oversee the investigation and the usage of magical artifacts in the area. I was actually the one who gave Harshnag his axe, which I heard that you made a bit of a trek with him up north, didn't you?
Sad ending, but yes.
And was his last, I heard. We got your letter, by the way. Very thoughtful. We liked that. It was a nice touch. Or at least I did. I should tell you, there are some people here who are not pleased, or will not be pleased, if I suspect correctly, with your arrival. You should know, Lady Scarlett, she's... I don't care for her not one bit. She is up to no good and nosy as hell. Morwen Daggerford, I've only met a couple of times, but I'm surprised to see that she invited you. Seems to not want anything to do with you from what I hear around court. And, lastly, Lord Umber. He's off. He's drinking a lot. I don't know if it's just the environment or what, but it's something to keep an eye out for.
What happens if I beat Sims to a pulse?
He'll get arrested, thrown in jail, likely tried in about 3 to 6 months, and I imagine be executed.
Oh dang.
Why is that's a long process. Just have heads chopped off. Just chops my heads off.
Oh, they like to make you suffer first, Shug. That's half the fun. They gotta Epstein you. They gotta leave you in jail for a while so they can get what they need, and then, you know. Epstein you. Wow, okay.
I'm not sure that's what Epsteining means.
No, yeah, but kill you in jail was what I was gonna, sort of implying. But
Did she mention Ochre, Ivory, or Sage? Did I miss that many of them?
if you ask, no. If you ask them, she says, Lord Ochre, I believe he's a good one. He's a financial leader, really pushed to open up trade with you guys. Lord Sage, I can't say much about. He's one of the religious types, and I just never mesh well with them, Shug. And Lady Ivory I like. She seems genuine. Not that everybody in court don't have something they're after.
What do y'all think? Devin is down to go talk to any of them. The fact that we already know one is terrifying, that was scary. It's just like, oh, we already know so much.
Kind of
What-
like the
what do you
idea
mean?
of Ochre who's into trading.
Yeah, same. Financial alliances are cool.
I'm gonna put a little note down here.
Goldbrand probably wouldn't realize that, but Devin's all about it. I'm
Alright,
Saphine
you
today,
guys-
so
you guys-
Saphine's like, fuck yeah, go talk to that one.
Yeah.
Not
you-
Saphine, I'm sorry, Daphne.
you're no, you're good. Daphne pops up. Did you say trade? And just immediately takes you by the arm, begins to walk. Lord Ochre. Again, can't see any of his details, but well, I have to say I'm happy to finally meet you. We've only done business by letter, of course. Please, Lord Ochre, pleasure to make your acquaintance. And you are
Bergen and Goldbrand.
Lord Bergen and Lord Ghalvin. Yes, I would recommend sticking to the titles around these folk. They're a little traditional would be a good word for it. A kind word. Not the first one that comes to mind, but a kind word. No, yes, I'm primarily the one who pushed to open up trade with you, but I've noticed that you haven't reciprocated as of yet. You guys were told of the trade, but y'all never elected to take
Is,
the building slot that it uses to do it.
Is he responsible for sending that guy who undershoots everything?
No, that was a Daggerford merchant, not a Waterdeep merchant.
Okay.
But that's a good question, though.
We have to like build a space for him, is that what you said?
Build a space?
Yeah, what did you mean? Like, what was... We just didn't build the upgrade as...
Oh, it takes the trade agreement is that you send them lumber and stone, and you do that by using up one of your building slots. Like right now you can build 2 things at once. It would use one of those to do this.
I see.
We've been
Seeing as how maybe this is something we could have talked about ahead of time, I would just tell him we wanted to meet him first before trading.
Well, unfortunately, this is as much of me as you'll ever meet, friend. No one knows what's beneath this hat.
I have bald head. Wait, I'm not there. Never mind.
No, but I suspect Sage might, if I'm being honest. Too much cover.
What were you gonna say, Perkin?
I don't even know.
We have been focusing much on our own infrastructures. Once we have solidified our base, I think we would be more amenable to fulfilling these conditions.
I would appreciate that. And I understand. Oh, I'm flipping into Saphine. I understand that you have your priorities. I'm happy to see you, by the way. I think that you all are, while you might be in a sticky situation, are on the right side of it. I should tell you, though, if you can find anything on any of the other lords, I'll pay quite handsomely for it. I suspect a few of them of, let's just say, illicit acts.
And you're saying you know this for a fact?
No, if I have my
Your
suspicions, but I need evidence to bring something forward. If you can find anything out, give me any leads, anything.
Anything in particular that you're suspicious of?
There are those I distrust. Lady Azure is fleeting, disappearing frequently from town, unable to make certain things, choosing to come in by magic. Lady Scarlett has her finger in everything. She has an ear that catches every whisper in the city. And Umber's he's the military leader. I think him a little bored, wanting to stir up trouble.
Cobra bounces up and down a little.
I'm afraid my date is calling me, but again, find anything, and I will pay for it. And he
We'll
tips
keep
his
that
head
in mind.
and he walks away. You have
Yes,
spoken to 2. Who do you go to next?
What do you think? The Goldbrand in me wants to go what's the word I'm looking for? I'm sorry. confront
Lady
Lady
Scarlett?
Scarlett. Yeah, because she she seemed openly displeased when we walked in. So now Goldbrand's like, I'm gonna go talk to her.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
If
But
he's
we can
moving
also.
for her, then I would follow
I'm not-
naturally, of course.
I don't know. It just depends on like if because I like to imagine since Goldbrand's insightful, he would be clocking her occasionally, like
Hmm.
throughout the night, and if he just saw her like you know giving them dirty looks, he'd eventually just be like, all right, fuck you, let's go see what's up.
Debating if I should try to schmooze her a little bit and ask her to dance.
Lady Scarlet.
Yeah,
Do it.
Oh,
debating.
okay.
That's clever. No, I like that a
That
lot.
is pretty clever, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially like if he
Trying to
goes about
capture
it
her,
without the rest of us.
Off her
Like,
guard.
Like she's just going for food or like mindlessly kind of walking around, and I like by happenstance or make it look like that. Like, oh,
Well, you do.
kind of just.
She is on the dance floor. She does have a date. A tall.
Are you winning?
Dark-haired man who is not fully concealed. Seems to be human. And he at one point leaves, and she is on the edges of the dance floor, or the ballroom. If you would like to make that move.
Yeah, I would go up. Yeah. Say it seems you've lost your dance partner. I could use one, or I have two. As she went off to the loo, if you'd like another, and extend my hand very nobly.
I'm afraid that he wouldn't be very fond of that. The jealous type, you understand. I must go, and tries to slip away through the crowd.
Before she goes off, maybe one more time. Hey, we haven't been introduced. I'm Lord Davos. Trying to get her name because I don't think I know who she is. Maybe, or do I already know?
Yeah, I'm saying that. I would say that you guys are in close enough proximity, even between dances and stuff. The party keeps you abreast of things like this person's sus. This person's, that's Lady Scarlett. She seems creepy. That's Lord Ochre. He's the traitor dude. I imagine they're giving you the highlights. She turns and Lady Scarlett, if you must know, but I'm afraid I don't have much time. But I must say, you're Davos. Is that correct?
Yes.
I thought you might be. Surprised to see you. We weren't alerted ahead of time that you would be in attendance.
We thought, as Lords of Nightstone, receiving an invitation would be rude to not come and get a chance to meet our neighbors.
Indeed. What?
sorry, headcanon. What if Tally mind linked all of us before all of this started happening?
That's really clever. No, yeah, that totally happens. More or less. I'd say it's like him, one of you, and then Davos. And this way, him dancing, you two investigating, he can relay all this.
Yeah.
But, no, I suppose it just would have been polite of the host to let us know the guest list beforehand. We don't normally invite every lord of the realm. We, have only entertained Lady Velora, for a few years as a courtesy to her station. I didn't expect someone to off her, barge in, make the keep their own, and then, proceeds to bring multitudes of trouble through the area.
Well, I'm sorry that you're disappointed in our presence, but I assure you we mean no trouble.
Knows. I think she's with thems.
With thems?
I think she's in Tharum.
And I would tell her, I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. It was nice meeting you. And mine talk to Tally, hey, keep an eye on this one.
Okay. Thank you. And she turns back and walks away from her date, the direction her date left. Tally tells you he'll flag her. You guys leave Lady Scarlett.
This is became very espionage with the like the mental links, but like
Yeah,
earpieces.
no, I'm
or
about
whatever.
it.
Does Goldbread fill me in on that?
Yeah, everything is shared. You guys drop whispers
Yeah.
and stuff.
I think it's
Um,
more like Tally is like trafficking thoughts between people. Like,
I tell Goldbrand we could still go and introduce ourselves to her eventually at some point this night and squeeze some more info out of her.
if she doesn't leave, that's what I'm afraid of. Tally's tracking her, right?
yeah, he'll tell you if anything eventful happens.
Okay.
I think that's how you spell espionage. I'm not going to try any harder than that.
That we stuff sounded a whole lot like I'm pissed that you fucked up my plan to take over Nightstone bullshit.
Okay, who do you
All
pick
right, so
next? Or-
we should go to Upper last in case he picks
I
fight.
just I remind the guys that, hey, keep in mind what Daphne said. No trouble.
Yeah.
We're not there to beat people to a pulp and intimidate and interrogate too much.
Well, you said too much though, so there's still a little bit. So no one needs to know. No one seems to know anything about this. The green ones. Perhaps some of us should approach them. I think they're all doing this now as they're moving around the rooms. Dope.
Yeah, it's the party is flowing and moving. People take their time between eating, socializing, dancing. So there's a constant flow of people, and there's always an opportunity.
You said Scarlett left the dance floor?
She started to walk away. If you ask Tally, he says that she went to the far side of the chamber, and seemed to be trying to escape the dance floor where she saw most of you sort of lingering. She's on the opposite end of the room as you guys.
I was just
Still
thought of something
socializing,
too late.
still. Oh, what?
A little sleight of hand, maybe, but nope, too late.
Okay. All right. So Sage, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys approach this figure, and you see his eyes kind of widen a bit as you approach, and he goes, welcome. It is pleasure to make your acquaintance. You're Lords of Nightstone, is that correct?
Yes, Lord Bergen, Stonespire, Lord Goldbrand? Are you going by Lord?
I guess so. I guess that's why I have this on my hands. Lord Goldbrand's Storekeepers. So I have another question real quick before we start talking to him. So Tally's here, but are the other
Zitari
two
and Valk?
here?
No, I'm saying
Yeah.
Zitari and Valk are back, just because that makes too many moving pieces. For people who aren't here, I mean.
I mean, sad face. I was gonna say. I feel like it wouldn't be weird if all three of us were talking to someone when the other three are moving around the room.
No, yeah. I'll still say that's sort of how it's going, because you guys are pretty much approaching them in pairs. Tell me, how do you find the city to your liking? Nightstone, I mean.
Oh, it's pretty rough when we got there, but
I heard.
it's looking much better now.
Yes.
They,
I was gonna say. That tells me that we makes good coins in our lines of works, and the city is flourishing.
it
I
is
believe.
nice to see things bloom. I have to say, we're unsure if you would be making an appearance. We understood that many of your backgrounds were a little removed from the type of life that Lordship typically brings.
This is
Yeah,
Lord
it's not
Say,
like
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, y'all.
I asked if I was present in this conversation as well.
Yeah, we'll say that he wasn't on the dance floor, so you guys can sort of group around a little closer. The three of you were within talking, range.
Or just mention that Lady Scarlett seemed surprised that we were even invited at all.
Because, yes, it is, something that I think Lady Daggerford did to keep us on our toes. I had wondered, as Lady Velora has been here in the past, but it was merely a hunch, a guess perhaps. Tell me, you are the the knight, correct? Of Lathander. Is this true?
Yes, I am.
He sort of tips his hat to you. Not tips his hat, but leans forward and bows, sort of. Be like, I am very proud to be the religious leader of our city. I think that your intervention has been a deciding factor in the fate of Goldenfield. I do think it's divine guidance. And I believe that you, Lord Bergen, are also a worshipper of Helm, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yup.
That you have done outlandish and amazing things as well. Hearing how you have saved several from calamity and collapse was a tale I was rather fond of. Showed true evidence of divine mercy.
Did he just use Taylor's name?
Taylor's name? No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought he dropped a name we would have known.
He said, well, he didn't drop her name, but he said that he has heard how he has stopped, like, you gather that he's talking primarily about the collapse at the Eye of the Allfather.
Oh, I see.
But he did save Talia before, so. Anything that you boys have to say to Lord Sage? Anything you want to ask him, or?
Who is it that you follow?
I'm a worshipper of Lathander myself.
No.
Bergen's like, okay, what?
No. Yeah, I didn't mean like that.
I mean no disrespect. I admit I have a fondness for the temples of the Morning Lord, but all of divinity is sacred in that.
What's the knows about the ones in reds?
I believe her to be inquisitive, insightful. Nothing more.
That feels like a lie.
Insight check?
Yeah, I was about to say somebody insight this foe.
They're super covered up though, which makes things hard. Wow.
20!
Goldbrand's over here like, you children can't hide from me behind your fucking clothes.
With a nat 20, you pick that he's lying. And now that you're tracking it, you think he's
now sus, so to speak.
Yeah, he's lying about more than just that, too. It's...
What is this you really do's in the cities?
I have told you, I am the leader of the religious sect. I help oversee developments of temples, the maintenance of graveyards, sometimes mundane aspects, but such is the bear of rulership.
But that's just officially what you do's. There are other things.
I'm afraid I don't know quite what you're talking about. Is this, perhaps you are unfamiliar with how city life works, my forest friend?
I would say yes, he is a bit confused. Our priest at home also handles other things like stable work and community outreach programs. We were kind of interested if you did the same.
You
Just really trying to like diminish that he was being interrogated by Goldbrand.
No, I got you. He goes, well, we do help feed the hungry, and you gather that he's stumbling a bit. The lie is becoming a little more clear. He might be official about, he may be the religious leader of the city and may do those mundane things he mentioned, but you're asking about extra charitable work, and it's fallen a little flat. Seems to be reaching.
I would just kind of keep going in that direction. Like, how many homeless people does Waterdeep have? And maybe, like, justify it. Like, what could we look forward to with Nightstone as we expand in size?
Oh, the normal amount of homeless people, I suppose. I'm afraid it's a problem that we haven't quite nailed down. Sometimes they just disappear altogether.
Disappear altogether?
I mean that the problem disappears altogether. They move on or find a home or absolved of their homelessness. Oh, I didn't know there was a track on here with words.
Oh god, I don't even know what Goldberg will tell him. Just obviously failing to lie at us, and like I don't even know what.
Well, you rolled a nat 20, so I'm giving you some
Yeah, so-
leniency, but
Yeah, but I don't even know like how to respond to that. Like,
Well, maybe you just let it go for now,
let it
knowing
go,
that he's full of baloney
Yeah,
and
full of
there's more
baloney.
than me.
I thought.
Let me see
Oh well,
this
I don't want to. I
guy.
don't know if I'll outright threaten him.
I
gonna-
would, as he begins to walk away, try to like accidentally bump into him for some sleight of hand.
Oh god.
I'm looking for maybe a note in a pocket or other incriminating
Okay.
evidence.
You want his identity. That's what you want. I don't know who that motherfucker is.
Okay. Roll your check.
Just straight sleight of hand.
Yeah.
Can I give him guidance? Oh no, I didn't say it in
I
time.
do have inspiration, but dirty 20.
Dirty 20. And you're looking for a note or something in his pockets or
Like incriminating, like I'm not trying to take
Yeah.
out his whole wallet.
No. Okay. You notice his hands are covered in rings. And this is not an uncommon sight, but as a holy person yourself who doesn't like to necessarily go to the gaudy extent, he has, on all 4 fingers on each hand, he has a ring. It's unbecoming of a clergy person.
Is it just gold? There's nothing like
Yeah,
a
what
symbol
kind of
or
rings
anything
are
on the rings?
Not visible, no. You could try to sneak one off if you would like. If you want to try to
Perception?
take one.
Or another sleight of hand?
If you want to take one off, it would be sleight of hand. I'm not
Oh,
saying
no,
that-
no, no.
Okay. I'm trying to think of something.
What
My
are they made
mentality
from?
is
Are they-
I don't think that they would bring something like that to this location. I will say he has a gold pouch on him too, a sizable gold pouch, and with a dirty 20, I would say you glint that it's filled with platinum, not just gold. Like
Jesus.
Okay. Like, kind of like, Devin, I don't know what to do with this info.
So, but what kind of rings are they? Can Davos tell? Are they gold?
they're mostly gold, silver,
Okay.
gemstone
I
encrusted.
thought at first they were all going to be iron, and I was going to die.
Now that would be a little too on the nose, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, I know a little less to do with the information.
Okay. Would you like to move
I
on
guess
to
just
another lord? or-
apologize and
I
sorry,
think-
you know.
Yeah, no. I can't.
Was nice meeting you, good sir.
At least we definitely know he's hiding something.
Yeah.
All the rings on his hand, though.
Can I do like a passive perception around the room, see if anybody's looking at us?
Yeah, no,
Or
Davos
a
is going to clock through.
active perception check? Not passive. Like passive in the way I look around the room.
I got you, dude.
Okay, just making sure.
No, you're good. That's funny though.
He said he was from Daggerford or Waterdeep.
All these lords are from Waterdeep. The masked ones.
Waterdeep.
The Lady Daggerford has not yet arrived.
I got a 24, if that matters.
24, solid. So you do a glance about, and you catch, or across the room, Lady Scarlett clocking you, not making a move, but you gather that she's purposefully keeping her distance. You see that Lord Sage has left the ballroom, left the dance area, and is proceeding toward the bar. Another odd thing you clock for a religious person, to go to booze. You see Lord Umber already at the bar. Sost. You see Lord Ochre talking to... well, as far as suspicious activity goes, that's probably it for suspicious activity. You see Tally kind of like casually mingling around the room, but
So, since we're all linked, I guess I can just ask. On a scale, I don't know, how do y'all feel about, like, maybe two of us, or maybe just Goldbrand, like, approaching, or maybe possibly intercepting Lady Scarlett if she's, like, purposely trying to stay a far distance from us, and just, I don't know, maybe not interrogating her, maybe not asking her to step outside. Depends.
Tally says, I am free moving from you. I don't know if she's clocked me yet. I could try to intercept her. Perhaps if I stop her and you boys arrive quickly, before she has a chance to excuse herself.
Can you do it at the door so that we can just all step out? It won't do goods if they see us all's suddenly accosting one of the masked persons.
I don't know that there's... Every door I see is above a staircase, like the one we entered from, or that other one on the far side of the room. I don't see any other direct ways out. It's probably security detail.
Okay.
Perhaps.
I was gonna say perhaps you two should go, but I think Davos already tried to talk to her, and she probably doesn't want to see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to, but I feel like I exhausted my options.
Yeah. I will prevent her from escaping if you and Bergen try to make a move in.
Bergen, do you want to go? I was about to say, do you want to go do that? I bet we can go talk to Lady Ivory if you want, or we can go stir the shit pot.
I would position myself between her and the door as well on the dance floor.
Clever. Okay.
So that way I can accidentally bump into her.
You watch as Tally sort of gets in position and you two make your way over, and she turns and Tally is at her back almost immediately, like, oh, well, good evening, Lady Scarlett. I've heard little about you above court. Oh, my friends wanted to speak with you. And as you two arrive, he turns and continues his passive clocking, merely acting as a speed bump to allow you to move in. You are from Nightstone.
Yes, we just wanted to make sure we said hello to everybody and make ourselves introduced, just so y'all felt a little bit more comfortable, with your new neighbors.
Yes, that's very courteous of you. I have to say, I'm not much one for new acquaintances. I prefer to learn things from a distance. So.
Learn things from a distance.
Why is that?
Part of my trade. I'm responsible for learning everything I can, and usually that means that I have someone doing the scouting for me.
So you're head of reconnaissance for Waterdeep?
You could say that. Oh, quite a
head
few
of
things.
Security?
Do you do head of reconnaissances for only Waterdeeps?
Oh, of course not, darling. Where would the fun be in that?
Oh. Do I believe her? Yikes. Oh, not great.
It's hard to read.
Yeah.
No, I've got a keen interest in the goings-on of many places, especially small little quaint hamlets that suddenly explode into a triple the size. Not to mention with giants in tow. And not just on the other side of the battlefield, darling, but hiding out in those caves you've got back there.
Pretty cool, huh?
Cool
is not the word that comes to mind.
As it occurs to you that this hypothetical towns might be advantageous to not stir the shit spots, I've heard you children say.
Isn't that precisely why you came over here, cornering me by the edge of the ballroom? Your friend right behind me when I tried to slip away politely.
I was raised in the woods. I have an excuse.
So what's your problem, handsome? And she says this to Bergen.
Well, like I said, we just had to say, hello before we left. We could not leave without introducing ourselves to everybody here.
Indeed. So I guess you've introduced yourself, so I guess you're done.
Well, we were also curious about what it is that, your role that you played at Waterdeep, and I guess you led us into that a little bit, but, could divulge more if you wanted.
afraid divulging is not the business I'm in, dear. Collection. Now, if you have something you'd like to share, I'm all ears. But as far as people who seek to pull something from me, not going to go well.
Mentally, Goldbrand kind of idly wonders if they can just bribe her into leaving Nightstone alone. He doesn't know numbers, so he just,
Leaving Nightstone
it's a-
alone.
it's a vaguely, it's a very vague thought for him. Like,
Well, so what exactly is your problem with the new leadership per se of Nightstone? Is it the giants? I mean, we're
That's
uniting the
we're
small
forging
people.
alliances.
It's the
Yeah.
giants, it's the encampment of barbarians, it's the hordes that seem to flock themselves to you. Everything about your keep is just such an anomaly. It's infuriating. I like what I can expect, things I can predict. You two are all just too wild.
Well, you'll come around. It's a once in a lifetime thing. You'll see.
Bergen, make a perception check with advantage.
All right. Let's see.
Man, I wish I could figure out ways to name drop the snail or the what's the other one? The dwarf, the horn dwarf.
24 is solid. She sounds familiar. You've heard her, and you think it was in Nightstone.
Huh.
She goes,
Is it fucking?
and it's you can
Or
tell
is it
that.
that chick?
Thalia? Was that what it was?
What?
Was
What-
it Thalia? I'm trying to remember her name.
Davos, what are you
Weird.
thinking?
Was it the spy that we first encountered that was in there?
It clicks for Davos first. He hears her voice. You can tell she's affecting it purposefully, but she did that when she first met you too. She pretended to be the monk before she was outed, and Davos picks up on it and instantly sends it around. It's that one bitch, the one that jumped out that window.
Jumped out that window.
Oh boy.
Do you remember?
Roll.
Remember when she dropped that freaking
Like episode
grenade?
2?
There was one that escaped. I see.
She was the one that we were holding back, and her boyfriend was
Yeah.
outside the gate, but it wasn't really her boyfriend, but he liked her.
Yeah. Good job, Davos. Damn. Davos remembers all the tea. Like.
I got a thing for the chicks.
So you guys know this. What do you choose to do with this information?
Right.
Oh, but she also.
She knows
does Goldbrand
you,
need
but
to- But yeah, does Goldbrand need to make an inside check to see if she understands that or if she thinks that we know that?
she hasn't picked up on it yet. Like, she's concealing it. She's nervous. She doesn't know if you have, but she doesn't think you have. Because again, nothing was said. This was just Davos caught this and relayed it to you. There was no tell per se.
We
Well,
can spill
if
the
you
beans and I
wouldn't
can
mind-
ask her to go out with us.
I'm afraid I'm already seeing someone. He should be back any minute. Rodrigo.
I was talking.
Well, if you're so anxious to go, then mysterious Lady Scarlett, I guess just have to wish you a good night.
Oh, thank you. That's exactly what I wanted. She begins to.
Before she goes, or before we turn away, I think Goldbrand wants to tell her very quietly. Well, I mean, I guess he's gonna do it. He's gonna tells the Zentharums and the Iron Rings that we are coming for them, and we have not been stopped by anything.
Oh shit, dude! I just told her we meant no trouble, dude.
No, Goldbrand's not about it.
You watch as you say the Zentarum, she freezes up a bit and her eyes flick to you, and you recognize that switch, that who I'm pretending to be versus who I am switch. And you caught her off her guard. She wasn't expecting to see you here, and because of that didn't know that anybody here had seen her real identity except for you four. She exhales and goes, "If you say a single word, we'll have you all split like pigs." There's more Zent here than not. Keep that in mind.
Gober's gonna keep moving. He can take the trash talk like he started it.
And if you're concerned about the Iron Ring, go talk to Sage. And she slips away.
Oh no. Don't like it. Sorry, I just
No.
she's definitely Zet. Gober hates it.
Yeah, you know it. She was a Zent agent. She was a part of the Seven Snakes that was a part of the Zentarum. So you know, yeah. And she's high up in that city.
Apparently.
What?
That's what they do, I guess.
Apparently.
I think Gober was under the impression that she was faking that she was.
She was faking what?
Yeah, I guess it would be hard to replace an actual lord at a ball. Like that was not a cover.
Oh, I see what you're saying. No.
Yeah.
If you while Tally is clocking this from a distance, Saphine steps up to him and, that red one's no good, I tell you. She ain't even been here that long. Got promoted. Must have been some hullabaloo. But when the previous lord was removed, and permanently, I shall say, she just got bumped right up there. No clue who she is, but she's got her fingers around someone, or vice versa. She pats Tally on the arm as she follows him around the room. Tally relays this all to you.
Well, we can talk to Lord Umber or Lady Ivory, but that's up to you guys. I feel like we don't know much about Lady Ivory, right? And Lord Umber's trashed.
Not really. Saphine said she liked Lady Ivory well enough. Lord Umber just seems, he seems drunk.
Now, is that the kind of dirt on one of these other peoples that we should be sharing with other?
Do you want to go cash that in?
No.
Oh,
No.
with Lord Ochre though?
Right. Not. Yeah.
What
Just
if we
put
check?
that
I
in the
wouldn't
back
lead
burner.
with it. I
What if
wouldn't
we
lead
checked
with it.
But what if we checked with
Backup
Saphine first?
plan.
Yeah, we can ask her. I feel like anything. Hey, how would that go over?
Well, I don't know if we want to mention we're going to sell it to Lord Ochre, because then she's going to be afraid we're going to sell her out.
I think we would need actual proof too.
I mean,
from what he said, he'll pay you for information, but proof he will pay you top fucking dollar.
we could rate it. I guess they're talking in their heads. Gorbran goes off in fantasy about raiding a Zetarum lair and taking, getting proof, going to find the seven snakes or the snail, and then going back to him and being like, "We found this," or these people.
Wants to go back up to Sage and introduce Helena, making sure I emphasize her name and explain, how I rescued her and stuff like that.
To Sage?
Yeah, just to see him squirm a little, kind of.
He goes, "That is phenomenal. The Iron Ring is a blight upon our city, and it would do us well if they were to crawl back into the Underdark and never come out again."
Do you have your own problems here in Waterdeep with the Iron Ring?
Occasionally, they are quite the experts at discretion.
Yeah, they seem to have infiltrated other towns near my hometown. How do you guys keep that from happening?
Oh, well, it's difficult. It's constant vigilance, really. Lots of watch. I spend many a night myself wandering the streets to make sure that everything is tip-top.
Have you heard anything about a leader of them?
Oh, I've heard whispers and rumors, but nothing I could say for sure. Not my type of talk. Those type of people don't typically come to confession, you understand.
I guess maybe nodding to the drink in hand. The party have your nerves. The party also gets to my nerves, maybe I say.
When you point it out, he like sets it on the bar behind him, to distance himself from it, and yes, while I can speak to the masses, I can hardly talk to my neighbors. It's embarrassing. In fact, I feel a bit unwell. I think I might go have a seat. I will away.
All right.
Mhm.
About that time, music dies down a little as the announcer cries out once again in a thunderous voice from the opposite side of the chamber. Please welcome your host of the evening, a woman of grace and beauty, a figure as she is cunning and wise. Presenting her lordship, Lady Morwen Daggerford. And you see walking into the room, masked, but not fully, a dark-haired human woman, tan skin, warm eyes, and smiling lips that are a deep shade of red. On her arm is her date, a charming, tall, dark-skinned human. Not the Lord Daggerford, but a date. She begins to make her way down the stairs as the crowd applauses, and you see people begin to shift forward, trying to vie for their chance to talk to her. She makes her way through. And I'm going to move forward her token. Bloop. Bloop.
Does she look ill?
Ill. Make a perception check. No, she looks beautiful. She's dressed to impress. If looks could kill, she'd be razor sharp. She's seems to be in her element. You see in a moment that there'll be an opportunity to sort of intercept her as there's a gap in the crowd that she's making her way through.
Enter the Three Stooges.
Truly.
As you come bumbling and whooping and yucking all your way through, she greets you and, well, if it isn't the Lords of Nightstone, I'm pleased that you could make it. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Please, was your journey well? I trust that you did not travel by cart.
More like a couple of pedestrians? Absolutely not.
A droll laugh. Well, I do admit there is, my pleasantries are quaint. I'm afraid I already know your names. Goldbrand, Bergen, Taliband, I believe, is wandering over there, and you are Davos, is that correct?
Indeed. And I give a little bow.
I must say, I would like to talk a bit of business. It's hard to talk shop at these things. So many people to speak to. But I must say, are you... Goldbrand, in particular, I must say, you have ousted one of my merchants. It's not courteous. I know that perhaps merchants are not common where you hail from, but you must understand that this is unacceptable. If we are to continue any type of trade agreement, then I would need to know that you are going to respect all of the citizens of Waterdeep as they travel through your city.
Our issue is that he wasn't really respecting his fellow citizens of Nightstone.
And how so? I don't believe I read anything about that in my report.
No, he was probably better
I
for
was
the
just
people.
wondering if we should talk business elsewhere?
I'm afraid I could hardly excuse myself just a moment after arriving to the party. I mean, I might have to admittedly visit the little lady's room in just a moment, but I can't say that I would be caught dead sneaking out with a few of the newest lords, it would look quite scandalous. These people talk about anything, you understand.
I guess meta-wise, I was more so meaning like the next day meeting her,
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
if she really wants
or
to
if
talk
we
about
don't
shit,
have
yeah.
the chance.
Oh,
If we won't have the chance, then I'll do it now.
She'll say, oh, I'm sorry, but I've got quite the full day. Now that we're through Midsummer, there's quite a few bits of business that require attention. And preparing for this has really taken me out and prevented me from getting good work done. So I'm anxious to get back to it.
Well, I would just then say that what they did was undercut the prices of everything. They seemed to always get their shipments, and we, the other merchants, wouldn't get their shipments. And this is a tactic that we had seen from other nefarious groups before.
Well, I can assure
We
you,
smell something
if...
fishy.
Go ahead, Bergen.
I was just saying we smell something fishy.
That would be the Tartar day. I would stay away from it. It has been out for a few days. No, I will say, if my merchant got better prices, I'm sorry, he just has better connections within the city. That is no crime. And saying that his shipments were coming in, I say that perhaps you should guard the roads. I can't say what would prevent that. Game of chance, I suppose.
It would seem that this wasn't by chance.
Do you have proof of this?
Our shipments would take, on average, I'm going to just list some numbers here, 3 days, but then they soon became 5 days, 6 days, or never showing up at all with no issue whatsoever on the same road, mind you, with this other merchant.
Oh, well, I did hear reports of a dragon that was attacking travelers nearby. Perhaps it was intercepting your shipments.
Well, I don't know if you've heard, but we have since taken care of that dragon.
But this was after you had expelled my merchant, if I'm not recalling correctly. Is that so? And it is.
Yes.
Yeah. So, has it happened since?
Nope. But it wasn't
Must have
when
been
we
the
killed the dragon that our shipments were showing up on time. It was after we got rid of the merchant.
Well, perhaps just chance. I'm afraid, while I can't speak to the individual integrity, I do have many merchants who wish to set up shop, as it were. Provide goods to your people. Fine things, luxuries that they cannot get in such a remote location.
Yeah, that's how the first guy sold it to us too.
Well, I think maybe we should agree to her contracts, but under certain conditions, i.e., everyone in the city sells the same prices of things, or I think a better idea is to just make sure they can all.
Different shit.
Yeah, they gotta sell different shit. Indeed.
If you can provide fancy goods and our merchants will provide common goods, I think we can work a deal out.
One more time? I'm sorry, I kind of lost part of the middle of that.
If you could provide the fancy goods and our merchants will provide the common goods, maybe we can work a deal out.
She goes, while I can't force my merchants to follow a certain price range, I could make select ones with approved goods, we'll call them. That sounds agreeable. To sweeten the pot, as it were. I do have something I would like to behoove you, but something that has become... Nuisance is not quite the right word, but... I can offer you a tower. To the east, near Secomber. I had used it in the past to position troops, help maintain order abroad from the city, you understand. But once increased activity in Nightstone became evident that Waterdeep and Daggerford were in the hotspot, as it were. I had to remove those troops. It's been empty for a couple of months, but if you were to take it and keep it guarded, it would be yours.
So, is it Can go over an insight check to try to get an idea of why she's doing this. Davos rolled one too.
I hit a
Yeah.
13.
Yeah, go ahead. 13 and
13.
13.
13.
Wow.
Lucky number. You were told about this in a way. Osvius mentioned that she was going to try to offer something to sweeten the deal, to get a confirmation. And you get that she's kind of using it for leverage, but she doesn't seem to be like, you know. She agreed to the one amendment that you had, so it doesn't seem like she's, you know. It seems generous, I guess, is the best thing you could glean from that.
Do we have enough troops to man the station? Goldberg may not know that, but
It would have to be a battalion, yeah. So we would send either the Nightstone Guard, the Barbarians, the Trents, or I guess the Giants to go keep a look on that. Or the Waterdeep Rangers, or the, I think you have one more.
could we train a unit to send there?
No, because, like, people who have been growing up into units, you could split a unit. Because, like, your Nightstone Guard went from a D6 to a D8. It got bigger because your town is bigger. If you were to send half of them, I could split it into 2 4s. Same stats everywhere else, and you could have half and half. But you need at least a D4 to guard it.
Oh.
At least a full battalion, I mean.
See. Well, I'm sure we can discuss that. That's a big decision.
Yeah, it's an option. Do you agree to the terms and accept the tower? She'll send merchants with different goods. Seems all fine and dandy.
Yeah, I'm debating if we should mention the underground groups that are rampant in Waterdeep.
I'm sure she's well aware, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like we should try to make her like pay us for it first, but
Pay us for it?
yeah, get double paid for it. Like, hey, bitch, we know some shit. Give us some coin and we'll spill.
Oh, Brand, you think nothing like a barbarian.
No,
Shinies. Give me shinies and tell you things.
he spent just enough time around people, and he's over here like, all these children really want these shinies things.
No,
They
this is
sell other children's for shiny things.
This is Devin's
This
hustle
must
coming
be
through.
the-
I see it. All
I
right.
guess I would say. I'm trying to think how to put this. We're very grateful for your generosity, and we would be willing to help you with some other issues that Waterdeep has, and maybe somehow implying it.
Well, she's Lady Daggerford, remember? So are you saying like, hey, we know some issues with Waterdeep, like these guys over here, or are you trying to say like issues with her town personally, or in her town?
More reference to the Zentarum and Iron Circle without saying it.
Yeah,
Like if you need us to get rid of them, or if there's anything we can do to help you rid the town of garbage.
Well, I suppose to rid the town of garbage, would have to get about half these people on their carts and airships and out the door, wouldn't I? She cuts a smile.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I would smile back and say, giants seem to have a good skill there.
Yeah, she's in on that shit. She's making money. She's getting a cut.
Oh, I love
Insight? Insight?
You can make an insight check. What did she say? That
Go ahead,
you
Bergine.
have to load up half the people on the planes in the carts and get them out. Okay. Oh, whoops. 17. Did you get that, Davos? Did you do that as well? I'm sorry, I'm not seeing
No,
it.
that was. No, I didn't roll. I was
Okay.
Bergen. Was gonna
17.
roll, I thought.
You gather she knows it. Potentially several of them are crooked. You can't quite glean how much of a hand she has in it. Like if she's getting paid to let stuff happen, or if to turn a blind eye or whatever, or if she is, just aware of it and doesn't, expunge the information. It's hard to say, but you know that she seems to know who's shady. There are many who are.
Word.
She puts out a hand and says, please, I must excuse myself. I must address the court. It's been just about an hour since she arrived, and she welcomes the lords and ladies of the court to her humble home and tells them to please indulge on this special day. She has spared no expense, bought only the finest foods, the wines, provided only the finest entertainment. One of whom, in particular, calls Daggerford her home. The lovely and talented Fredda Glissando. And shit. Ba-ba-ba-bam. Fuck. Where are you? There it is. Okay, sorry. And I'm not hearing it. Are you hearing it?
No.
I'm sorry, 1 second.
I'm beginning to think that Fred Bot sucks. Fred Bot.
There we go. But yes, you're right. You all turn towards the band to see this figure that she's announced. But as a soft plucking of a harp fills the chamber, you find that it is seemingly coming from everywhere. Someone's echoing. Yeah. Is it a trick of the acoustics? But the notes are soft and sweet, but the melody is familiar, and Davos, you recognize this as a Fae Fighter song. Heart-shaped box. Something cold. Davos strikes your nose, and you realize it's lightly snowing in the chamber. As a few figures in the crowd point upward, you all raise your eyeline to see a gorgeous female high elf with golden hair sitting atop a large figure of a snowflake that slowly spins as it hangs from the ceiling. Gonna drop a picture in here. She's donning light, silky lavender robes and shawls, and all of which drift about her with her hair, as if weightless. She smiles warmly as she strums the harp with closed eyes, producing small flakes of frost that float off into the crowd gently. The crowd seems delighted, and applause breaks out softly as they enjoy the cool flakes that float about the chamber, never striking the ground or melting. And as the song draws to a close, she leaps from her snowflake seat and drifts slowly to the floor. And as she touches it seems gravity resumes as her hair and her shawl fall naturally about her, and the snowflakes evaporate into nothingness. Applause breaks out as she bows lightly, and the original band resumes their dark melody once again. And Davos, you heard her name before. And you remember that this is one of the names that Orin gave you on his sheet. The bards to recruit, as it were. Davos?
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good.
At work, I heard most of that. She's still playing?
No, she's done now. Sorry, the track's just longer.
Okay. Yeah, I'd go up and introduce myself. Tell her I'm, friend of Warren's.
If you say that, now I knew Orin. We were in a band once, a priestess and a paladin, and we prided ourselves on being rather virtuous. But Orin quickly proved himself lacking. We were called
And I
lawful
would,
good Charlottes.
chuckle.
Did you catch that? I don't know if that...
Yeah, I said I would chuckle when she mentioned that about Orin. Like, yeah, kind of like duh.
But you're a friend of Orin, so you must... Are you part of his old band? the Fey fuckers, or whatever they are.
Fighters, and yes.
The fighter fuckers, whatever.
Fighters, yes. I'm Davos.
The
I was
the fighter fuckers, whatever you are.
Yeah. Fey fighters.
Fey fighter. Sorry, yes, that's right. No, I guess I owe you credit then. I used your song. Lovely melody, by the way. Although I would bet that you don't play it out on your harp, do you?
Which song?
It was Heart-Shaped Box, if I recall correctly. I thought you might recognize it.
I think, trying to think, what would the Faerun equivalent be of Nirvana?
Well, canonically speaking, we're saying that it's a Fey Fighter song.
Alright.
But if you want to say we learned it from this other band, Nirvana? I think Nirn is the planet they're on. I don't think that's right. I think that's
Either way, we'll say it's...
Toral's the name of the planet.
Yeah, that's right. She says, well, I've heard quite many good things about you and your troop. What brings you here to the city? Certainly you're not playing.
We are, and I would point to Goldbrand and Bergen, the Lords of Nightstone, invited by Lady Daggerford.
Oh, my employer for the evening. Well, I must say thank you for coming. If not, I would be out of a job. Unfortunately, not too many of the inns around here like the light angelic sound of a harp. They're more into the, drunken pissed drinking songs.
Sounds like those kinds of musics. Golden thinks to himself.
Right.
Which gets broadcast to everybody, Rip.
That's right, yeah.
Well, I would point out that Nightstone is a little more virtuous, and that while we have piss-drunk tavern goers, we still have a couple of temples that might enjoy some Sunday music.
She thinks for a second, and you're not trying to recruit me, are you?
Merely
That's a very
suggesting
telling,
suggesting that maybe on your travels you stop by Nightstone and
Did Orin put
play
you up
with
to
some
this?
fellow buffs.
I
I wouldn't say put me up to it.
Oh, well, that's...
I had asked for some people that I might meet on the road to play music with.
Well, if I'm going to be playing music with him, I'm afraid I'm not too... we didn't leave on the best of terms. He got drunk, and in his stupor kissed me. And I've not forgiven or forgotten, and ironically, as he was too drunk to remember it even the next day. But perhaps a kiss can remedy a kiss. Not everybody.
Question mark?
A kiss.
What do you mean?
Well, I was kissed against my will, much begrudging, just filthy feeling, really. So, why don't you kiss one of them? And she points to your 3 compatriots.
Right now?
Oh, of course, darling. It will give the court something to talk about for months. You don't understand. It's very, very dull around here most days.
I'm afraid that would put off an image that I'm not willing to put off. And it doesn't really seem like a very virtuous request.
Oh, nothing
from someone who claims to be.
It's a peck on the cheek, love.
I feel like this is a trap.
He goes, unfortunately.
How willing are you?
Maybe there's something
I'll
else.
do you one better. I'll do you one better. You don't have to kiss the 3 of them. But if I come to Nightstone, you have to plant one on Orin for me, just so he can get a feel for it. You understand?
That seems more acceptable.
More acceptable is good enough for me. I have to thank you for the entertainment in turn. I will look forward to it. Besides, I've grown rather bored here. You guys have piqued the curiosity of Court, not to mention many of the common man. Nightstone has become a symbol of sorts. Perhaps I'll find something interesting there after all.
You can almost guarantee it.
She dips
Told
her
her
head.
supposed to the octopus.
Seen enough hentai to know where this is going. You. She says, "I will see you after the. I will ride a day after the ball. I will see you shortly." And smiles as she sort of dismisses herself. And I need Bergen and Tally to make a Constitution save for me.
Excusez-moi.
You heard me. I didn't stutter, bitch.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
Terrible.
All right. Give me 1 second. I'm
Poop
gonna
my
pull up
pants.
tallies.
Gorbran's getting ready to just start beating people with his bare hands.
Goldbrand doesn't know anything's happening.
I mean, oh well, I guess if he doesn't collapse. But let's see.
So, Bergen and Tally, each of you feel a very sharp pain on your side. Bergen, you take 48 points of damage.
Oh, what?
48 points of
Wow.
damage. Tally
Oh
takes
no.
32. Give me 1 second. And you both see two figures, disguised as servants, who each pull a long stiletto dagger with a wicked green sheen from your side. And you feel as this poison wages war on your internal organs, as you hear a scream from across the chambers, from Lady Daggerford's chambers, where she entered from, across the ballroom. People scream and shout and rush about. And that, my dudes, is we're going to end tonight's session.
Oh wow.
You son of a bitch.
And little stabby stab, little talky talk, you know, fun shit. They were going to go
Yeah.
for the healer and the one that they know to be the most damage outputty. So
Interesting.
Hey, yeah.
that's the fun. You don't know. You do you some bitch. But no, that's fun.
Man, part of me really hopes this wasn't gonna happen until Gorbran was like, "Fuck y'all."
Yeah, he was definitely asking way too many questions about weapons.
Who was? Oh, me?
You.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, something had to happen. Come on. Like,
No.
but we will pick up next
That's
week.
cool.
Remember, you do not have your armor. So all of you need to unequip that for this encounter.
Oh,
I'll remind you
yes.
next week, but you don't have your armor, and most of your weapons are in the bag of holding.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some
I
time
got
wasted on that.
spells.
Excited to see where it goes. With that, my dudes, we're going to go ahead and call it a night. Hope you guys had fun. If you have any, what's the word? Feedback from this, please let me know. This was something very different from what we've done in the past, so if you were about it, let me know. If you didn't like it, let me know. Just trying to mix up the module a little bit. Hope that you guys have a wonderful week. Take care. Kick ass. Bergen, if you haven't got your results yet, I hope all of your finals are aced. I'm sure they will be. And
Preach, preach.
catch you boys next week. Is it Friday yet?
See ya.